The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Hey, the Jets actually won a game on a Sunday for only the second time all year. Their fourth win overall. Good or bad that it happened. We'll talk about that and much more. It's the Jake Asman Show, and it starts right now. Man. This is the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. We have Brees Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Jets defeat the Jaguars 32-25. Aaron Rodgers, 3 touchdowns. Devante Adams, 198 receiving yards. We'll get to that and more, but first things first. Make sure you hit the like button immediately, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so and consider joining our Patreon. You get bonus shows, your name in the intro, all for less than a cup of coffee a month, plus discounts on every item in the merch store, Discord access, and more. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. I get asked all the time, Jake, how can I support you? Patreon's the best way. It's patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Thank you to everyone who supports me there each and every month. All right, lot to talk about with this game. And we'll get into whether or not it's good or bad for the draft pick ramifications of the Jets winning. But just from a watching football standpoint, I'm still shocked the Jets actually won this game, given how bad that first half went for the Jets. Like, the Jaguars aren't any good. And the Jets barely had the ball in the first half, and they were dominated. So the fact that the Jets actually won after how that first half went, I am a little surprised. I won't lie to you. Now, the score at halftime was only 13-7, but if you watch the game, the Jets were dominated. They made Mac Jones look good. Mac Jones is terrible. More on him in a moment. But the fact that the Jets won, I mean, I'm surprised, to be honest. It got so bad at one point in this game, really after that opening drive, where I was kind of indifferent. I'm not going to sit here and root against the Jets, but if they lose, I'm not going to be that upset, right? I was so angry in that first half, especially after, the back-to-back sequence of penalties by Hassan Reddick, who's a bum, and Sauce Gardner in the end zone that led to a Jaguars score. I'm like, you know what? Screw these guys. Screw this defense. I want them to lose because this defense remains terrible. And look, good for Sauce to get the pick at the end of the game. His first interception in 36 games. We don't have to hear about it now. That's all fine and dandy. But, man, this defense stinks. Stinks. And there's actual talent on this defense, and it just continues to reaffirm what we believe on just how poorly coached this football team is. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars are not good. And the fact that they didn't use Sauce Gardner on Brian Thomas Jr. till the very end is comical. I mean, good riddance to this coaching staff. Even with the win, I cannot wait for them to be gone. But look, you look at this game, and to me, what really matters is what we saw from the quarterback and what we saw from Devante Adams. I believe when you evaluate the future of this organization, one of the first decisions any GM who's brought in and coach who's brought in that they're going to have to decide is what to do with Aaron Rodgers. And that, I believe, also impacts Devante Adams, who had one of the best games of his life today. Completely dominated in clutch time. A new GM and coach is going to have to decide, do we consider bringing Aaron back as our quote, bridge quarterback, because our other options aren't great? We have Tyrod under contract, and that's it. You weren't going to be picking in the top 2 anyway to get one of these top quarterbacks. Does a new GM like any of the other options in the top 10? Does a new GM say, look, we bring Rodgers back for a year. With better coaching, we can win more games next year? but we still draft a quarterback at the end of round 1, like the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, when they traded back in to take him, or at the beginning of round 2? Like, is that the path for the Jets now? I don't think anything's been decided. I felt coming out of the bye, Rodgers basically had 6 games to maybe tilt his future one way or another. And after the Seahawks game, I felt like there was no way he'd be back. But last week he played well. They didn't win, but it wasn't his fault. And today, even if they lost, he played well. But they actually won. So while it's still probably more likely than not at this point he's not here, it's at least fascinating over these last 3 what the future holds for Rodgers. And if he is here, I think Devante's here. But I'll say it now, and I'll say it a lot throughout the offseason, regardless what the Jets do at the quarterback spot, I'm trying to bring back Devante Adams. I already traded a 3rd-round pick for the guy. If they cut him, while they save an enormous amount of cap, he's still going to count $8 million against their cap next year. So they save money cutting him, but it's still an $8 million dead cap hit you're dealing with. Is there a way I could bring Devante back and keep him and Garrett Wilson for another year? I would try and do it. Because Lazard is not any good. He's better with Rodgers, but if Rodgers is not here, we know what Lazard is. Malachi Corley couldn't even dress today. How big of a joke is that, by the way? Let me get this off my chest. Joe Douglas and company leaking it to everyone. I mean, Corley was the 4th-rated player on our board at that position. Meanwhile, Brian Thomas Jr. was like the best player on the field for a lot of this game today. The Jets are telling you, or they were telling you, we thought Corley was better than that guy. Yeah, okay. Guy can't even be active. Jeff Smith has leapfrogged him in the pecking order. He was active today. So you have no receivers after Garrett Wilson next year. None. Xavier Gibson? I'm trying to keep Devante Adams. If there's one take from this game, I don't care if Aaron's here or not. If Devante's open to being back, which he said he was a few weeks ago, I'm going to try and keep him. Now, he might say, nah, I'm good. If Aaron's not the quarterback, I'm going to go somewhere else. I'll maybe even take less money to play on a contract that will allow me to play with the Chiefs or the Bills or any other contender you want to throw out there, the Lions. Who cares? All right, fine. But I'm at least trying to keep Devante Adams because he could play. Is he what he once was? No, but he's got to be one of the best number 2 wide receivers in the league. And some weeks, he'll play like a number 1, like today. Garrett was good again today, too. Nice to see him get in the end zone. I know he's getting frustrated and whatnot, but that's him being a competitor. That's not, him and Rodgers hate each other. That's not what that is, man. That's football. Garrett wants to win. He was as happy as anyone after this game. So I'm not even going to address the, Garrett wants out of here nonsense. No. One of the first things a new GM should do is extend Garrett Wilson. I'll say it every week. This guy should play his whole career as a Jet. Don't let him out of the building. He's a leader. He cares. He wants to be here. Keep him. Keep him and Devante. And if Aaron's here next year, I have a couple stipulations that I just said on the radio that I'm going to say again here. I have 3 things that need to happen if Aaron Rodgers is the Jet quarterback next year. 1, the next GM and coach have to want him back. This is not an ownership decision. Woody, I don't care if you love Aaron, you hate Aaron, you let them decide. The second stipulation is Hackett, we're not running your offense. We are running a modern offense. We're running the offense that the Niners run, that the Rams run, that the Vikings run, that the Buccaneers run, that the Lions run. The only team in the league besides the Jets that runs this version of the West Coast is the Cowboys because of Mike McCarthy. No, thank you. If Aaron's here, I don't care if he's 41 and has to learn a new offense. Guess what? That's the only way he's back, is if we're running a modern offense. That's it. And if Aaron says no, then he won't be here. And then the third stipulation is they're drafting a quarterback regardless if Aaron's here or not. It might not be in round 1, but you're taking someone on day 2. You're taking someone in the 2nd round. If those 3 things happen, you could sell me on maybe Aaron being here, and maybe he would redo part of his contract again to mitigate some of the dead cap stuff. But that's it. And all these things kind of feel unlikely right now, but there's still 3 games to go, and we'll see how it plays out. If Aaron looks good down the stretch and Devante's playing well, then we'll see how it unfolds. But now that Aaron is healthy, you can't tell me that he's not probably their best option at quarterback for next year. But it's not just their best option. You're also weighing the salary cap. You're also weighing what you're doing in the draft and the direction the team's heading. But I will continue to say this. The Jets won today because of the talent they have, not because of the coaching. If you actually got a real coach on this team, they're not a 4-win team right now. They're not. I mean, look at the amount of times the Jets have had the lead in the fourth quarter, and they finally broke through and won one of the games. But this team entering today had 5 blown leads in the fourth quarter, most in team history. They were 0-7 in games decided by 6 points or fewer. They finally won one of those games today. By sheer luck, you're guaranteed to win a couple more of those games next year. Because year to year, the one-score record typically does even out. But with better coaching, obviously, you'll be a better team next year. So this, to me, is still an issue of coaching more than anything else with the Jets. And that was evident when you watched today. And you watched Jeff Ulbrich at the end of this game give Jacksonville a chance. I mean, look, he's dead coach walking. I understand. He won't be here next year. I get it. But the fact that Jacksonville even had a chance at the end of this game just speaks to the ineptitude of this head coach and coaching staff. How do you not kneel the ball twice with 1 minute to go and force Jacksonville to burn both their timeouts, kneel it again, and then kick a chip shot field goal from the 1-yard line? They let Breece Hall score. So you gave Mac Jones 2 timeouts and over a minute to go to have a chance at the end there, which any other quarterback against the Jet defense, which is not any good, probably gets the job done, and we're going to overtime for the second week in a row. The Jets got lucky there. Jeff Ulbrich completely mishandled that one. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, you know, Carlson had missed a kick earlier. If you have no confidence in your kicker hitting a 25-yard field goal, get him off the team. And Carlson has been good outside of that one kick. So the clock management at the end was horrendous. The coaching staff is inept. And that was another example. They won this game today because of the talent they have. This coaching staff should get 0 credit. 0. I mean, give me a break. But look, to the Jet fans out there enjoying the win, I say enjoy it. If you're a Jet fan who is rooting for the loss, I will simply ask you this, right? I'll simply ask you this. Who are you tanking for? Because the Jets were not going to be in range to get one of the perceived top 2 quarterbacks. And guess what? They've been in the range to get some of these top 2 quarterbacks in the past, and it still hasn't worked out. It's all about getting the right GM and coaching here. You can find talent no matter where you're picking. So I understand the pro-tank crowd. You wanted to see another loss, and maybe you could creep further up in the draft order. But at the end of the day, this team was better than just 3 wins. I didn't think the Jets were going to finish with 3 wins. If you prepared yourself for the fact they were likely going to win today, like I did, it doesn't hurt as much that they did. It is what it is. All right? If they lost, would I be that mad? No. But they won, and I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. Last year, they can't beat New England. They're going to miss out on Olu Fashanu. Well, guess what? They still got Olu. All right? And it's not like this is a quarterback class that, the Jets need to be in the top 5 to get one of these guys. They would need to be in the top 2, which is not going to happen. Have you watched the Giants play football? Have you watched the Raiders play football? The teams in front of the Jets are worse, if you could believe that. So I'm just not going to sit here and do the doom and gloom. Oh, they won a game that it didn't matter. I'm not buying it. Ultimately, we have no control anyway. How you root has no impact on things. And we've seen the Jets have the number 2 pick and blow it. We've seen the Jets have the number 3 pick and blow it. You got to hire the right people, the right coach, and you can figure it out. The Lions and Bills are playing right now. I got the game on in front of me. Josh Allen was what? The 3rd quarterback taken in his class? Jared Goff's on his 2nd team right now. Those might be the 2 top teams in each conference. Mahomes was the 2nd quarterback taken his year. Mitch Trubisky went in front of him. No one knows. So it is what it is. And it's not like the Jets are sitting here missing out on a player because they won today. We have no idea. We have no idea. So I get it for the pro-tank crowd, but the Jets have had high picks before and they botched it. It doesn't matter. Remember, the year they took Sauce Gardner, there was a corner that went before Sauce. So you never know how these things are going to play itself out. You never know. So I'm not going to lose sleep over the Jets as of now, as I'm recording this episode here, going from the 7th slot in the draft to the 8th slot, pending the outcome of the remainder of the games. We'll see where they fall to, but I don't see the Jets winning another game this year, but if there's a win left, it's probably the last game against Miami when they're playing for nothing in the cold at MetLife, because Miami lost to Houston today. So they're essentially done, which is why I wanted the Jets to win last week to stick it to them, but it is what it is. So the Jets win, and I think the real conversation coming out of today is, what do you do at quarterback and Devante Adams' future? Rodgers and Devante. That, to me, is the conversation. If you're watching live right now, one, thank you. You're a true Jet fan if you're tuning into a post-game show about a 4-10 football team. And two, please hit the like button, that thumbs up icon, and subscribe to the channel. A reminder that our show is available in audio form wherever you get your podcasts, Apple or Spotify. Just search The Jake Asman Show, and you'll find the audio version there. And if you want any merch items, including the hat I'm wearing, head over to jakeasman.com right now. jakeasman.com/shop. We'll get to your calls coming up. Load them up on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. I will pin the comments, or the call-in link, I should say, to the comment section for everyone out there who is tuned in live right now. I also want to remind everybody that we're doing a giveaway for an Aaron Rodgers jersey. That's right, the throwback Rodgers jersey. And for every membership that you gift, you got a chance to win yourself the jersey. You'll get a raffle ticket with your name on it. It will be thrown into the bucket, and you'll get a chance to win, baby. So we got the names in here. We'll do the giveaway tomorrow. I will extend the giveaway for this show for everyone who wants in. Plus, our next giveaway will feature this photo of the Jets taking the field at Super Bowl III that you could frame for the Man Cave. So a bunch of giveaways all month long. It's my way of saying thank you for supporting this show despite this nightmare season. So I appreciate everyone for your support. First comment here is from Cincy Matt. He says, nice job on the radio, Jake. Matt, thanks for listening. Jets are better off next year with both AR and DA. Draft a QB because why not? Maybe he or Travis, if healthy, is your future. Well, I'll say it again. If you're going to bring Aaron back, you have to draft the quarterback early. You have to. That to me is the only option. So I'm with you. And I'm trying to bring Devante back either way. Now, you obviously have a much better chance of keeping him if you have Aaron here. Nate with a super chat for us. Bring back 8 and 17. I think a lot of Jet fans have been moved today by Rodgers' performance. I would caution you guys, the Jaguars' defense is terrible. They're 32nd in the league. But last week he looked good as well. And let's see how he plays now over these final 3. That's where I'm at. Cheeseman, have you had any Henny yet? I have not. I can't, in good conscience, drink Henny celebrating a win over the awful Mac Jones-led Jaguars. Now, if you gift a membership, Cheeseman, maybe I'll take a swig of Henny for you. Leany in North Carolina checks in. So much fun hanging out with Murdog and Clancy. My hubby's son and I are 2 for 2 going to games this season. We need Leany in every Jets game. She has seen 2 of our 4 wins in person. Leany, I'm glad you had fun. Tyrone checks in. Rodgers and Devante in a groove. Bring them back. We still have a win now team, but that coach has to be the point. Go Jets. Look, if you tell me you got Mike Vrabel as the coach and Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, I don't hate it. My opinion might change after these last 3, but I'm open to it. I've always been open to it. Aaron had to play better. For 2 games in a row, he has. Can he make it 3? That's what we're watching here down the stretch. Snake Plyskin writes in. Last week, everyone wanted Rodgers gone. I think last week people were more open to it because he played well last week. I think 2 weeks ago, most people thought he should go, myself included, because he was supposed to be healthy after the bye week, and I thought he sucked against Seattle. So I'm not going to allow these 2 weeks to blindly change my opinion that he should be here next year, but I'm willing to be open-minded and see what happens over these last couple games here. Kyle writes in, I go to the New York Giants and the New York Jets, get a W. Guess I'm off to Atlanta. Yeah, Kyle, don't watch the Jets ever. They might keep winning. You were one of like 8 people at that Giant game today, I saw. Someone super chatted me that the Jets lost turning down Belichick for a head coach. Actually, if I was Woody Johnson, I would have hired Bill Belichick for 24 hours and then fired him. Bum. Fraud. No thanks. Enjoy being a college coach, Bill. I'm not turning my organization over to a 72-year-old who without Tom Brady has a lower winning percentage than Rex Ryan. I'm good. Julio writes in, I've been a fan since 81, and I'll never understand wanting our team to lose. How has Trevor Lawrence worked out for the Jags? Yeah, and it's not like you're tanking for a specific player this year. I understood 2020. I wanted the Jets to lose that year. That team had no talent. I wanted Gase to have to wear it. This team does have talent. They should never be as bad as they are even this year. So it is what it is. It's not like they're in range for Shedeur Sanders or Travis Hunter, even or Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, or Cam Ward, even if they lost today. Billy has gifted a channel membership. Billy, a name on a raffle ticket is going in the bucket because of you, my man. Appreciate it.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Love it, Billy. I'll be adding your name right after the show. Sour Diesel. Reload with AR plus DA. Draft the Penn State quarterback and get a real coach. I mean, you could sell me on Drew Allard in the second round. Getting a coach is more important than anything else the Jets do. Anything else. Batty Boy says, is Adams the true number 1 and Wilson a natural 2? No, I think they're both really good. I think they both play off each other. We've seen Garrett have his moments where he's completely taken over a game, and Devante is still capable of that. They complement each other. That's how it should be. Cheeseman has written in, on a mobile, gift a membership on my behalf. Jets win is a Jet win. I want to see Jake drinking some Henny. Well, Cheeseman, since you gifted or you super chatted for the Henny shot, I got you. All right. Here we go. Tasted a lot better when this team was 2-1. Mother effing Chew has gifted a channel membership.
Choo, mother effing choo.
Billy has gifted another channel membership, baby. Bang! Bang! Congrats to Iowa Jet fan, who's now a channel member. Congratulations to Mach1, who's now a channel member as well. Keep gifting your memberships. It supports the show, and your name will be entered in the raffle. We'll do the Rodgers jersey tomorrow and the Super Bowl 3 photo tomorrow. First place, Rodgers jersey. Second place, Super Bowl 3. Third place, item from the Jake Asman merch store. We will have more giveaways all month long. Appreciate all of you supporting the show. The big fellow with a super chat for us. Rodgers beat the Jags. Let him beat the Bills before you start thinking about bringing him back. Best thing today, Sauce caught a ball. Sauce caught a ball. About time. You know, I'm sure that streak was bothering him. It's over now. Maybe Sauce could finish the year strong. That's what I'd like to see. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Gus Buster Umbrella Hotline is open. Load up your calls if you want to weigh in on this Jet game. We're presented today by Custom Bourbon Tours. Jet fans, you need a vacation. I need a vacation. It's been a rough year. Consider your next vacation with CustomBourbonTours.com assisting you on said vacation. Experience an unforgettable day on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. If you're a bourbon drinker like I am, Custom Bourbon Tours is the company for you. They will set you up. You're going to pick the distilleries you want to visit down in bourbon country, down on the Bourbon Trail. You could set up your private group outing in 5 minutes or less online. That's how easy it is. All you need to do is go to their website, CustomBourbonTours.com. They will assist you and the distilleries you want to visit, the vehicle you want to travel in. They offer flexible, zero-interest payment plans. So set it up. Fully book your tour in just a few minutes. CustomBourbonTours.com. Shout out to Liam and the team there. Huge Jet fans for supporting the channel. We're also presented by my guy Joe DeVizio and his team at Joe DeVizio Realty. SellWithJoe.com. Homeowners, if you're thinking about selling your home in the upcoming year, do it with Joe and his team. They're the best at what they do. They can help you get top dollar in any market, anywhere in the tri-state area, no matter your situation or what condition your home is in. Call Joe, a Jet season ticket holder, and, of course, one of the top real estate professionals. You see the number on the screen, 959-CALL-JOE, or the website, sellwithjoe.com. All the info is in the description box for this video, so check it out, sellwithjoe.com. All the info in the description box for the video. Shout out to Joe for being our post-game sponsor. Altoona in the house. President of Football Ops, Curtis Martin. GM Man Genius. Head Coach Rex. It's not going to happen, Altoona, but I do like the I do like the take. I don't think Mangini would be a GM. I think he'd only come back to be a coach, by the way. Harvey has gifted a channel membership. We'll get Harvey in the raffle. Ladies and gentlemen, Felix with a 10 spot. Felix, you're the man. I sent you out your giveaway win yesterday. You won the Joe Namath fur coat photo. So I know you won the Braylon Allen jersey. You said give it to someone else. This one, though, it's already being sent your way. You can't give it to anyone else. I want you to have something for all your incredible support that you provide on this channel.
Felix Campos, he wonderful, wonderful guy. He gives a lot of gift memberships and loves the Jake Asman Show.
Take the money.
Barry Beck, Jet Fan 911, John Jack 85, David Cattell, Brian J, John Serpico, Samini's Crusty Tissue, Big Steve, Larry Thomas, Roy Romano, all receiving channel memberships courtesy of Felix. Shout out to Felix. Big W in the chat for our guy Felix. All right, we'll open up the phone lines now. Let's take your calls. Super Chats will continue to cut the line, which is why I will read this one here from Ryan, who says, Jets have me dead inside. We need so much improvement everywhere. I don't know who I even want as quarterback next season. They killed me as a fan this season. See, I would push back a little bit from this standpoint. They have a tremendous amount of improvement they need to make, sure, from a record standpoint. From a talent standpoint, they probably have a lot of the roster in place. Now, there's some moves they got to make, there's no doubt. But the O-line has 4 of its 5 starters, I believe, under contract. You have a number 1 receiver. You have a very good running back room. You got to redo tight end. You need another number 2 wide receiver. Like, there's some things they got to address on offense. I get it. You're not starting from nothing. And defensively, you get Jermaine Johnson back. You have Will McDonald. You're pretty good at edge, but you need more depth there, obviously. By the way, nice job by Hassan Reddick to play well today after Jeff Obrick is defending him. Oh, what a joke. So you need to add to this defense, clearly. But they need to be coached better. I would re-sign Sherwood. You still have Quincy. You have Sauce. You need another corner. Could that maybe be someone on the team right now? Is it Stiggers? Do they sign someone? Like, there's moves they need to make, Ryan, but they're not bereft of talent here. With better coaching, they're going to be competitive next year. I believe that. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. Felix Campos with a 20 spot of channel memberships. Then another one and another one. So by my math, which is not great, we are up to 32 memberships gifted in honor, I'd have to guess, for the 32 points that the New York Jets scored today, which, by the way, is the first time they broke 30 all damn season. Holy hell, Felix.
It's J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. I love Fireman Ed, too.
I love the sound of raining memberships. Here we go. If you hear your name called, you thank one guy. And one guy only. And that guy is Felix Campos. Ladies and gentlemen. Grab my Gusbuster here. Promo code Jake at 15% off. Gusbuster.com. Batty Boy. Matt Coy. DJ Starkus. D1. Mr. Excessive Tackle. The Austrian. NY Cursor. Zach Cartwright. Carl. DHO Low 3X. Paulo. Kent Freeman, Colton Narduzzo, Billy D, Jet O'Doyle, Double O Jet Fan, Joe Fliz, Jason C, Ryan McCarthy, DJ Wheels 809, Chris Palomero, and finally Rue Nuts, all receiving channel memberships. Wow. Big time from Felix. Felix, what else can I say, man? You're one of one. A legend for that one. Unreal. All right. We'll get into your calls coming up here, I promise. Let me get some more super chats. JV writes in, Aaron Rodgers, say his name biatches. He played well today. I'm an Aaron guy. You guys know that. But I'm not going to be blinded by a win over the Jaguars who stink. I still got to see more. And I have stipulations for him to be back. Michael writes in, I missed it. What was Obrick's rationale? I don't even know what his rationale was. I haven't seen the full press conference. I think he basically tried to say, you know, we wanted to score the touchdown because, you know, their offense was moving it well against us. I mean, are you kidding me? You could have bled the clock down to nothing, you dope. He is so bad. Felix with a super chat, 32 points, 32 memberships. I knew it, Felix. I knew what you were doing. You're the man. You are the man. All right, let's get to some of your calls. Let's say hello to Billy M, who's first up. What's up, Billy?
Hey, what's going on, man? Look, the way I look at it, a win's a win. I mean, yes, we're 4-10, but you know what? It just tastes good because we suffered the whole year round. That just to see Rodgers play good and Devante Adams, it kind of felt good for me. I felt bad for those guys because they are legends. I mean, they're old timers, and you want to see them do well. It's all about morale, man. I mean, that's just the way it is, man. I'm sick of it. We all suffered this year. Let's just get damn wins. Who cares about the draft? Because at the end of the day, we have bad history with drafts. So you know what? I'd rather take the win. What do you think?
Yeah, I understand those who wanted to see a loss, but even if they lost today, they're not getting in the top two, which I believe you're going to need to be in to get one of these quarterbacks. Yeah. So this to me is not, the win over the Rams in 2020 that cost you the first pick in the draft, which, by the way, that win didn't cost them. It was the win the next week that cost them when they won their second game.
Yeah,
but, you know, I just think when you look at where the Jets are right now and what this draft class is coming out, I'm not going to lose sleep over winning a game in mid-December. There's still 3 weeks to go. We'll see how it plays out.
Exactly, but we want to still watch football. I mean, yes, it's meaningless, but it just feels good because to watch our team be a clown show, it irritates me. It hurts my feelings. I'm not in New York no more. I'm in Michigan now, so it's all about the Lions. Kudos to the Lions. I love the Lions. I do support them, but you know, as a Jet fan, you want to win. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is.
And they never tanked. The Lions never tanked. They just hit on their picks. They built their roster the right way.
And I agreed. All right, Jake. I'll see you around, buddy. Thanks for the call, man.
Billy, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for your support. More of your calls right now. Let's say hello to Rob, the Jet fan. He's next. Hey, Rob.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, Rob?
Oh, nice win today. I loved it. Defense is garbage. What a shit show there. You know, definitely coaching has a lot to do with this. We know it. You know, the eye test is that our coaching staff is garbage. And if we just had a guy like a Vrabel, Jake, we'd be at 9-4 right now, minimum 9-4. I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, so many mistakes, even at the end there, like, you know, they scored right away. Come on, what the hell are you doing? You know, take some time off of the clock and milk it. And then if you wanted to bang it in with 10 seconds left, 20 seconds left, okay. But, I mean, they just ran it right in, and Ulbrich is saying, like, he did the right thing. It just proves they don't know what the frick they're doing here, like, you know. And Allen, this guy's a bigger and bigger and bigger jackass than I've ever seen in my life, this guy. I mean, he's on the chat here saying – they don't even know how to tank right. Why are we tanking, Jake? Who are we picking? We're not picking in the top 2 or 3. These quarterbacks who I don't even love are not going to even be there, first of all. So who are we tanking for? That's question number 1. And then last year he said the same nonsense. And what happened? We're not getting Olu. We're not getting Olu. We're not getting Alt. We got Olu. Oh, no, but I wanted Alt. Come on. Nice reflecting there. So he's full of crap right there. And look how good Olo looks right now. he's definitely going to be our starting left tackle for years to come. Let's be honest here. And this guy wants to tank in 2026. No, I don't want to see 2026. I'm sorry, but yes, I am rooting hard for Aaron to come back next year. I realize the stipulations that you said, Jake, and that's fine. I'm okay with it. But you know what? I'm rooting for Aaron. I want to see Aaron because he's exciting. And you know what? You know what we're seeing right now, Jake? We're seeing finally Aaron slowly getting healthy. Look how he ran today. He led the team in yards today, 45 yards. He knew when to run when he needed to run today and get yardage. Now, let's be honest, not to kill Devante. Devante was spectacular today, but he dropped a couple of passes in the beginning, or he would have had well over 200. Now, we need a tight end in the worst way because Rucker is garbage. Let's be honest here. So, but Devante's got to come back next year, Jake. And I want Aaron back. I'm sorry. He still has to play good the next 3 games or so. Let's keep it going. But he has a shot to hit maybe 31 touchdowns and have the record in lieu of being injured in the beginning and not playing so well. You're seeing a healthier Aaron Rodgers now. And little by little, Jake, he doesn't look too bad now, huh?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's playing better, Rob, but we're talking about the 32nd ranked defense he's doing it against today. I got to see more. He was healthy against the Seahawks, and he sucked in that game. That was 2 weeks ago. I'm rooting for Aaron, too. I'm not sitting there being like, I hope he throws a pick here. Statistically, he's going to have one of the better seasons a Jet quarterback has had, which says more about the Jets than anything else. But I get annoyed when people put this year all on Aaron Rodgers. That's what annoys me. I'm not saying he should be the quarterback next year, but what I get annoyed is everyone who blames Rodgers for this team being 4-10. This defense can't stop a nosebleed. This coaching staff couldn't coach themselves out of a wet paper bag. These are facts. So while Aaron's not what he once was, he's certainly not the reason why they're 4-10. He did his job against the Colts. They blew that game. He did his job against the Patriots. They blew that game. He did his job last week against the Dolphins. They blew that game. And sure, could he make better plays in crunch time and help them win? Today aside, for sure. But he's not the reason why this team's 4-10. You cannot watch every game like I know everyone watching has, if you're still watching the show when the team's 4-10, and say it's all Aaron Rodgers' fault. It's not. By the way, he played well enough to beat the Bills at MetLife that night too. Tyron Smith doesn't commit a dumb holding penalty that wiped away the winning touchdown on Braylon Allen. Or Michael Clemens knew how to set the edge. Or Greg Zuerlein can make a kick that night. You know? It's not just Aaron, but that doesn't mean you bring him back next year. You got to see how the year plays out. And ultimately, I don't care what you want the Jets to do with Aaron. I don't care what I want the Jets to do with Aaron. The only person that matters here is who the next GM is and coach. They decide. Not Woody, not Brick Johnson, not Chris. This new regime should decide that. That's how it should go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is flowing memberships here. Are you kidding me? Do I see this right? Do we have a 220 spots here? Dark Knight Steve with 20. Dark Knight Steve with 20. That's 40. Dark Knight Steve with 45. Dark Knight Steve with 46. Dark Knight Steve with 47 memberships gifted. Holy hell. Wow. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
Show me the money. Show me the money!
Money.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Unreal, Steve. A real-life superhero, folks. It's raining again. Here we go. It's time. I got 47 names to read because Dark Knight Steve is an animal. Oh, my God. Here we go, folks. If you hear your name called, you thank one guy and one guy only. And that guy is the Dark Knight himself, Steve. Remy, My Young Ring, the NYJ Pod, Oregon Jets, Dre, Chris Dragon, JK, J-Rod, NY Jets 3-1, Xavier Bradley, Keem Brown, Shadow Realm. Where's my rain? Where's my rain, damn it? I need rain. And it's back. The Power, Dano, Mark Riz, Gil, Matt Burns, 615 Jet fan, Doc Avic, Jack Monorino, TV Mark Francis, Sarah Young, GM, Staten Island Joe, Cassandra Future, Adriano DeRizzler, BB, Stephen K, Idaho Jets, Uno Jets, MC3, Michael Curran, holy hell, M30, Green Truth Dave, Drew Balcom, Dalt, Boogie Down Dave, Falcon West, Kikuka Lake Jet Fan, Adam Phelps, Swinell G. Patel, all receiving memberships. Unbelievable. Dark Knight Steve, you are truly one of one. Wow. Billy, in the midst of all that, gifted a membership. Billy's membership went to listener Tim Burr. Thank you, Billy. And once again, Steve, you're the best, dude. Today is his birthday. Happy birthday to Dark Knight Steve. Probably the last of the season, but today was a good day. I turned 47. Steve, I'm glad on your birthday the Jets got a win for you. You deserve it. Steve came out to London. I met him there, and we unfortunately had to witness that debacle in person, so I'm glad Steve saw a win today. All right, more of your calls coming up. This one's from Eisten, though, this super chat. Who knew questionable Walmart sushi could go so well with watching an unexpected Jet W? Love the show, Jake. You had Walmart sushi today? God bless. All right, I'm glad you made it through. All right, more of your calls right now. Let's say hello to Chris G. What's up, Chris?
How's it going? I'm glad the Jets won today because I don't want a quarterback like Cam Ward or Shador. I'm more open to drafting Milroe as a project or Nussheimer out of LSU if he comes out. Also, Rodgers did go deep today. He threw deep a couple times, and he was moving around the pocket. He looked very healthy, and he looked mobile, and he was taking the hits. So I'm glad to see that. He still has to play good against Buffalo. Still has to play good against the Rams in Miami for us to be, ready to get him back.
I think the Buffalo one will tell us a lot, right? Because it's late in the year. The Jets are playing for nothing. The Bills will need the game for seeding. And, it's on the road. Like, if he looks good in that game, I think that would open some eyes. Him looking good against a bad Jaguars defense, the Rodgers haters are the people in the camp of not bringing him back. Today's not going to move you even if he played well. I think the Bills game could move some people.
Yeah, and it's still about getting Vrabel. I mean, I don't know about the GM. All I know is New York is not the right market for the first woman GM to come in here and run things. So, I mean, I like Agnew from what I heard about him and what he did with the Lions, but it's all about the GM and coach, what they want to do at Rodgers.
Yeah, look, whether they hire a woman GM or not, that doesn't bother me, Chris. But to me, it's making sure that you hire a general manager who's aligned with your head coach. Everyone's on the same page, because that's how successful organizations get it right. That's it. For more on the Jet win, let's get an eyewitness perspective. Let's say hello to David T. What's up, David?
Hi, Jake. Can I start off with Sauce Gardner, the interception at the end of the game? Imagine if he would have dropped that, how the can of worms would have been opened. So kudos to him. And, I definitely do not ever root for the Jets to lose with this tanking thing or whatever. And I agree with you with Rodgers. It depends on the next few games, but if they bring the right, whoever they bring in as coach and general manager, how they feel about Rodgers, they might say, hey, we can piece this all together where they're a Super Bowl contender in the next 2 years. If not, then they'll have to go in a different direction, But anyway, I'm thrilled. I never root against the Jets, and that's all I have to say.
Would you say that Rodgers and Devante were seeing the field clearly today, David?
You know what, Jake? The first half I really didn't see, and then the second half I actually had Richie on describing it and the red zone, so I didn't get into it in detail. But since you mentioned Devante Adams, can we please keep him for a couple of years yet?
I would bring him back. I'm with you. I'd look to bring him back.
Glad to hear it.
David,
Yeah, he's a class act, and he's great for the other receivers and Garrett Wilson, and I just got a good feeling about him. No matter what happens to Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully you get to see him back as a Jet next year. How's that sound?
I would love to see him back as a Jet next year.
Ladies and gentlemen, David T. What a man. David, you're a class act. Big David T fan on this show, folks. Hey, he's making a run in March. As Maniac Madness, the field of 68 will be seated. Incredible. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want a membership, I'm seeing some people saying, how come I didn't get a membership? You probably haven't liked the video or subscribed to the channel. Then YouTube randomly assigns who gets a gifted membership based on how often you interact with the channel. So if you're new around here and you want a membership, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's continue with your calls right now. Let's say hello to Neil, who joins us now. Hello, Neil.
Jake, wait a minute. Let me go on StreamYard here. Stay with me.
I'm with you.
Well, I want to take a particular shout out to, Big Fella and Nick, Shine, and all the guys that abused me this last week. I got who's our guy in Vegas there? I can't wait for him Thursday.
Jeff
Ripping
Parles.
me.
Yep.
Jeff Parles. Oh, Neil's delusional. Alan, Neil's delusional. He's delusional. Aaron Rodgers is washed up. Oh, God. How could you want to bring him back? It's all I heard for weeks and weeks and weeks. Okay. And this shows me that most of the people in here don't know what the hell they're talking about. Because the bottom line is, when a quarterback is a Hall of Fame quarterback, and I saw what I saw back when we were in the Patriot game, and clearly it's with the eye test, okay, you have to realize now that he's healthier. He's moving around. If I told you 3 weeks ago Rodgers was going to lead the team in rushing with 45 yards, you would have laughed me off the station. Right, Jake?
Sure, Neil. Yeah.
Right. So, in essence, all right, let's start with this. With the Jets are what they are purely because this defense is absolutely the worst defense I've ever seen put a Jet uniform on. I mean, do you believe that Mac Jones orchestrated 18 first downs and a half against our defense? Think about that. 18 first downs and a half. They had the ball for 21 and a half minutes versus our 9 minutes. Rodgers only had the ball 3 times in the whole half. I mean, think about that, Jake. It's crazy. How the hell are we? I mean, come on. We had the ball many, 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 many times against, with our defense the last 2 or 3 years. And now look where we are. What's the matter? You're very quiet. You're mad at me because
I'm letting you finish all the points here.
All right. No, there's no points. I'm just saying to you, I'm tired of these guys. Purple Belt Mike, you're another one. All right. I got laughed off, and my boy Bonesy also got laughed off.
Neil, okay? I don't think you're right yet. I think Aaron Rodgers played well against the 32nd ranked defense in the league today.
I get it. But let's put it this way. He's going to score points against Buffalo. The problem is,
how do you know that?
I don't know if he will because we may not be on the field. They may score 41 points and control the game, and we get 3 minutes of time. I mean, who the hell? How could you even feel the least bit confident that our defense is not going to give up at least 35 to 41 points the last 3 weeks of the season?
I mean, I wouldn't feel confident at all. But my point is, Aaron playing well today doesn't mean you definitely bring him back.
But again, it's a bridge quarterback situation. You bringing him back means you're bringing Devante back. That means there's no other option out there that looks remotely like I want to watch. I mean, who the F do I want to see? Why do I want to see mediocre quarterback play in the next 18 games into next year? Why
Because
do I want
maybe
to see
they're
that?
they're drafting a quarterback that eventually could play next year.
All right, they're going to draft somebody anyway. I'm talking about next year, Jake.
Right.
Forget a quarterback next year.
That's what I'm
They're
saying.
not
So
gonna
they
draft anybody. There's no C.J. Stroud in
I don't
there.
know about that. You don't know about that. They're definitely going to draft someone, I think, at some point in this year's draft.
Okay.
Maybe it's not in the first round, but what if it's in the second round?
All right. My point is that guy going to play? If he does, then we're really in trouble. But let's just assume they're not going to play.
They might be in trouble if Aaron plays next year. Neil, he's going to be 42 at the end of next season. What if he gets hurt again? You don't get healthier with age. He's healthy now, but this is still the third year in a row that injuries have significantly impacted his performance. His last year in Green Bay, which we chalked up to, oh, he's playing hurt, fine. Last year, he lasted 4 plays, and I think the Achilles injury has affected the ability for him to still be an elite quarterback. I think at this point, he's probably around an average quarterback. Is it worth bringing him back if that's what he is when a new regime will come in and evaluate their options and go, all right, maybe he is our best option, but is it worth the salary cap ramifications if we're just going to keep him for one more year? That's what a GM is deciding on. It's not just, is he the best option? He might be. I don't know that for sure. He might be, but they're also going to evaluate the dead cap ramifications of keeping him for another year.
I mean, how do you think? I mean, look, how do you think that Denver felt? They got rid of Russell Wilson.
Denver feels great. They drafted Bo Nix. They're going to be in the playoffs.
All right, yeah, but Russell
That's a bad
Wilson,
example. Denver feels great. They love what they did.
No, they like Bo Nix. Okay, great. And he's being managed, but he's not going to take him anywhere in the playoffs. And I bet you.
Yeah, but he's a rookie, and he gives him a long-term option at quarterback.
I understand that. But we have a roster here that's supposed to be a win-now roster.
Yeah, but they're not. They're not.
They're not really a win. They're really not a win-now. I mean, look, I will say this, okay? The offensive line, I don't understand why they can't run block, and I have to put that on the offensive line coach because they just look confused. They don't do cross blocks. They don't block very well again for the run. However, our play calling today was very pedestrian with the running plays. We don't do any in the beginning of the season. We were doing a lot of wide receiver screens, a lot of tight end screens, a lot of quick releases out to the back, to the side, and we didn't do any of that today.
Neil, you just made me $10. Someone is so upset with your takes that they paid me $10 to read. This is to shut delusional Neil up.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Okay. Everybody.
Were you happy with the win though? You were sitting there like rooting for the win the whole time.
Look, I'm having a beautiful dinner right now. I have some sushi right here.
Nice.
Okay. I have a duck roll. I have a spare rib, and I had 3 crab rangoons on a plate, and I'm enjoying a wonderful meal here that, again, that I could actually get down my gullet because the last, this year, there hasn't been many times where I feel like I could take a meal down my gullet. I mean, I know, Jake, you take the losses personally like I do,
I do, but not anymore. Not anymore. Once they lost that New England game, that was it for me.
But for anybody to think that it's better for them to lose is an idiot because the reality is it's not going to mean shit in the draft, number one. And number two, it's not going to entice a coach to want to come here if our team is playing like garbage because it's the more garbage we play like, the more players we're going to have to replace and the more we look like a rebuild trash can. I mean, doesn't that play at all into the scenario? You want us to play like shit? So what's that going to mean? Will you want a better draft or a better coach and GM?
I don't think it matters. I think if they won this game or lost this game, it will have no impact on their future. You could argue they're better off with a higher pick, but we don't know that. And they're not going to be picking in the top 2 to get one of these quarterbacks anyway. So I'm not going to lose sleep over the win, but it's indifferent to me if they won or lost today. That's
well, let's say for all intents and purposes that our offense, okay, because what we're going to try to count on at least going forward is that our offense may end the season maybe top 15 if they play well and continue to play well.
Top 15
and
in
at
what?
least, what's that?
Top 15 in what?
total offense. Could we get to 15, you think? Is that out of the question?
I mean, they were
I don't think they're
27th.
gonna be-
They were 27th in offense entering this week. Not going to get the top 15. There's too much of a sample size of them not being good.
Well, they're scoring a lot of points.
They should score against the Jaguars. They're ranked
Yeah,
32nd.
but Jake, we did not have the football. How could you say we're going to score a lot of points? We only had the ball 3 times and a half. We had 3 possessions in the first half. 3.
Well, what is your point? They should score against them.
I get it. They scored 32 points.
Right, and they
in
did
a half
good.
of football.
That's what they're supposed to do. I need more from this offense with Aaron Rodgers before I could say, "Yep, bring him back and deal with $63 million in dead cap for 2026."
Okay. Well, I want to know anybody that is interested in not bringing him back. I want to hear what their options are. I mean, that's the other thing. I want to hear what our options are. And I am telling you right now, the options are not great, and I can make a better case against the option versus keeping him than vice versa.
I don't know if that's true, though. Aaron is not great right now. He played well today, but we can't ignore the season as a whole.
Well, let's put
and
it
then
this
you're going to
way.
say, well, he wasn't healthy, and I get it. That's part of it, but he's going to be banged up again next year and playing through something. It's part of what happens
A lot
when
of
you're old.
quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes just got carried off the field. A lot of quarterbacks get
Right, but
hurt.
Patrick Mahomes is 29 or 28 years old. He can handle it. Rodgers can handle it too if he was young. It wouldn't matter. But like, your body doesn't recover from injuries.
He's not
You're more-
looking, but here's the point, though, Jake. He doesn't look 41 years old when he's healthy. He's got the arm strength. He could still whip the ball 65 yards, 50 in standing still, flipping a wrist.
Hold on.
And he's
Eiston
hitting
says, I
receivers.
paid to get
Let
this
me tell you
dude off.
something.
Can
He
that
left
happen?
10
You paid $10. Neil's worth way more than $10 to me. Get out of here, Eiston. I'm a Neil guy.
Who the
I
hell
disagree
is
with him.
Eiston? I never even heard of the guy. Who's Eiston?
Neil might be out of his mind, but he's worth more than $10, Eiston. All right. I'm a capitalist, but I'm not that big of a capitalist. Now, if someone pays me $50, Neil, we'll see you later. I got dinner to pay for. That you'd understand.
Well, let's put it this way. Anybody who roots, look, let's just enjoy the win, guys. For the real Jet fans out there, not the fly-by-nights. Let's enjoy the win. Let's see what happens. I don't know what they're going to do with this defense because, again, and if you have Peter, is Peter in the background? Because he was going to come on with me. Is he in the background?
Peter's in the background, but he's not on the Rodgers train. You know this.
Oh, no. Peter and I talked. Put Peter on with me.
Oh, God. But if I get $50 at any point, it's over. You understand?
All right. I want to have my boy on with me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to say hello to the Peter Castro.
The biggest mistake they made is not firing this whole crew of shitheads before the season started. The coaches can't make decisions. They don't correct anything. I mean, this is a joke.
Peter.
Jay, can you hear me?
Peter, I hear you.
Well, today was a show of just how bad this coaching staff is and how hard it is to overcome them all year long. You want to know something? If we had a decent coach, we probably would have won 10 or 11 games.
And we certainly wouldn't be talking shit about.
Oh, no, Neil.
What?
I have some breaking news here. Ladies and gentlemen, Sten has given a $50
Nice.
super chat to say goodbye to Neil. I cannot believe.
No, Peter,
what I
enjoy
just
it.
saw. You got to be kidding me. $50. This guy paid $60 total to get rid of Neil. Neil, you're unbelievable. Peter, continue.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron played a good game today, but take in mind that you're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who didn't blitz the whole game. They rushed only 4 linemen. He had all day to throw the ball. And they Jets probably should have scored about another 10 points if they weren't dropping balls all over the place. But the coaching staff is so bad. I mean, what is Hubert doing? And you know what? I'm even surprised Aaron Rodgers didn't spike the ball there. You know, I'm surprised he didn't do it himself. Why? I don't understand why you wouldn't just let them use their timeouts and burn up the clock. I mean, I was sitting there saying, what are they doing? I mean, they totally know nothing about football, these guys. Obviously, I don't know what what their problem is. But you think this guy's a good defensive coordinator? He coaches the defense the same way he was coaching the whole team now. He's horrible. He's a nightmare.
He's terrible, Peter, but like he's not going to be here, you know? But but it goes back to the point I've been making. The biggest issue on this team is not talent. It's not Rodgers. It's the coach is incompetent. They were poorly coached with Saleh. They became the worst coach team in the league since he's been gone. And I'm not defending Saleh because Saleh's not a great coach either. But I do wonder in an alternate universe what this season would have been if Saleh fired Hackett like Ulbrich did and promoted Downing, and Downing was the OC from that Bills game on with Saleh as coach. I am curious what the final record would be for this team. I don't think they'd win anything of significance, but I do think they'd be better than 4-10 right now.
Maybe one more game, Jake.
Maybe two. I mean, do they probably – I think they win the second New England game. I think they win one of, if not both of, last week against Miami or the Colts game. I think they have at least two more wins right now if Saleh doesn't get fired. I do.
Well, that could be true. And as far as Aaron Rodgers goes, you know what? It's going to be up to the new regime. That's what I keep saying. If they decide to keep him, all well and good. Is there a better quarterback out there? I don't know. And that's up for the new GM and the new coach to sit down and decide what they want to do at the end of the year and how they want to move forward with or without him. But
I agree.
That's how that's going to go. None of us. He could play great for the next 2 or 3 games. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. It all depends on who they get in here.
The one caveat could be if he'd redo his deal again, a.k.a. take a pay cut to mitigate the dead cap. That'd be the one thing. And maybe it's a package deal. It's like, I'll do that, but then you're getting Devante back. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm in on that because I think Devante should be brought back either way. If you're telling me Rodgers takes less so Devante could have more, you could sell me on that if that's what a new GM wants to do while still drafting a quarterback and a coach that's going to run a modern offense.
Well, I think that Rodgers is playing a lot better now because he's auditioning for another team too.
Could be, yeah.
Not just the Jets, because he has no intention of retiring. I don't think.
It doesn't feel like it, but he might not have any other option out there besides the Jets. That's the other thing too.
Well, that's the thing we could hope for. Then he would take a pay cut probably. But anyway, they won. So congratulations to the New York Jets, but their coaching staff. Oh, my God, they should be all lined up. And you know what I wanted to tell you? Where's Corley? He must have the IQ of a grapefruit that they're not putting him in there.
Or he's terrible, and this front office, once again, completely botched another pick like Denzel Mims. Or Elijah Moore.
Why wouldn't you try this guy out? It's ridiculous.
He got replaced by Brandon Smith today. The guy was on the practice squad. So Corley, and I said this earlier, Peter, I don't know if you caught it. So the Jets told people that he was their 4th-rated wide receiver in this class. Brian Thomas Jr. was the 4th receiver taken in the draft. He was the best player on the field for Jacksonville today. And the Jets were going around being like, yeah, Corley, we think he's the 4th best receiver in the draft. Like, they can't evaluate their own talent. They can't evaluate receiver talent. I mean, they got Garrett Wilson, right? But you could just use Connor Rodgers' big board every year, and you'd have a better draft record than Joe Douglas if you think about it, outside the top 45. Like, other than Michael Carter, how many guys has this regime picked outside the top 45 that have turned out to be really good players? There's one guy. That's not good enough.
I'll tell you, this whole building has to be fumigated. They all need to get thrown out of there. I've never seen anything like this. These aren't even close to being NFL coaches. Not even close.
Big fella just wrote in with a super chat here, Peter. He goes, more Peter, less Neil. Peter, what are your thoughts?
Well, I love Neil. Neil's a good guy. Neil's a good guy. Rob's a good guy. They're all, they're all good guys. We all kind of think the same thing. You know what? If they keep Rodgers, they keep him. But I mean, we could scream and yell about it, but it doesn't mean that they're going to do that.
Devin writes in, I love Peter Castro. I love your takes. Jets, 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 Jets.
Yes, well, I love my takes too. My takes are really good. Yeah, I told you how bad this coaching staff was a long time ago. And everybody said, oh, all they need is a quarterback. All they need is a quarterback. They need a lot more than just a quarterback.
Our coaching staff stinks. The team is never prepared. They're undisciplined. They make a million mistakes. And the coaching staff is terrible. He doesn't know what he's doing. Hackett and him are like having 2 drug addicts on the sidelines. They're no good. And if Rodgers doesn't fix this, we're all going to kill ourselves. What happens after Rodgers? They have no plan for that. It's going to be 10 more years of being a shit.
Peter Castro, everybody. One of the greats. I'm a Peter guy. Shout out to Devin. He just gifted a 5-spot of channel memberships for the people. Boom. Devin, you're the best. If you hear your name called, these memberships here are for Devin. We've added 89 members alone during this show, which is incredible. I need a channel emoji idea, as I believe we have hit enough to add a new emoji. So we will work on that this week as well for the Asmaniacs. York Pinnock, DB boxing fan, Bill Fawn, Johnny P. Who else got memberships here? It's not loading. And Joe the Jet all received a channel membership just now from Devin. Devin, appreciate you. More of your calls right now. Let's say hello to Tristan, who's next. Hey, Tristan.
What's up, Jake?
How are you, Tristan?
I'm good, man. It's good to see you, my brother. I agree with Neil. Very rare. I know.
You agree with Neil, you said?
Yeah, I feel like with his mobility, like I would rather see him back. If not have him back, I need us to win enough games that Jalen Milroe is not an option for us. Because we've already won.
We've already Milroe's an option anyway for them. Like you take him in the top 10?
No, that's what every mock draft is doing to us, is that we are going to take him in the top 10.
You don't want him.
If I see that man in a Jets uniform, I'll throw up, and I'll still put on a Jets jersey, but I'll throw up before every game.
I think it's so early for any of the mocks. I mean, one, the Jets don't have a GM yet. Two, like we haven't gotten to the combine and the pro days. Like I'm not saying Milroe can't end up being a top 10 pick, but I don't know if he's going top 10 right now.
Man, I'll tag you into some of the stuff that I've been seeing. It's been kind of stressful. So, like I said, if that's our option, if we keep losing games or we keep ending up in range for Milroe, and then that ends up being the pick, like I need us to win enough games to get us out of that range, because we can't lose enough to get either Shador or Cameron Ward. And the reason why I'm saying I agree with Neil is like no one can tell us what our other options are out there, truthfully, for a true bridge quarterback. I feel like a defensive-minded coach with experience, like you said, not Aaron Glenn, unfortunately. Like, I love him, loved watching him play. He's from my younger days when I came up being a fan, but we just cannot have a first-year coach. You know, somebody like Vrabel comes in here, cleans up that defense with some of the pieces that we've already had. Now, this just also shows you that Robert Saleh was coming up with the entire game plan for the defense, and Ulbrich was just calling it.
Yep.
So, you know, having somebody like Vrabel come in who knows how to hire offensive coaches and really just give us a nice bridge, I feel like that would be the best decision for us to make.
Tristan, I'm with you. I think there is a path for that to happen, right? Let's say it's Vrabel and Aaron's back. There's just too many obstacles right now to see it, you know? Because Aaron might not want to learn a new offense. And if that's the case, then I can't bring him back, even if Vrabel wants him. It's like, you got to run a modern NFL system. I cannot go through what we're seeing this year again.
That's fair.
I just, like, Aaron's got to compromise if that's going to happen. And maybe he would be willing to, because I don't know how many other options he's going to have. But I just feel like there's still too much unknown to figure he's going to be back next year at this point. I'd lean with no, but look, he played well today. If he does it again over these last three, it's not crazy.
So, but I know, just hear me out, though. If, as a fan, the only game that I saw that he lost for us technically was the Vikings game, right? When he threw that pick to Gilmore.
He was bad in the first half of that game, too.
But the team played bad. And I'm saying so, but three games of the kickers, and then 5 games where we gave up game-winning drives to the opposite team where we had the lead. That's 8 games right there. So that's why I'm cool with sitting back. Like, look at all these one-possession games that we've been in, and with better coaching, we're winning those games. And even if it's just 50% of those games, what's our record? 3-10. That's 8-5 right now, which any of us would want to be in that position at the moment. So I bring him back. That's my stance. I'm gonna stand on it, even if I'm wrong next year.
Hey, it's not a crazy take. I just think there's just a lot more that goes into it other than like, Aaron gives us the best chance to win. He probably does, but that's not necessarily the only thing that's being factored in, is my point. If you're watching live right now, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I want to thank all the Jet fans who still tune in to the show. Joe Beningo will be on with us tomorrow. 10 a.m. is the usual time. I'll confirm that with Joe, and we'll make that announcement in the Discord chat when we confirm it. But Joe is expected to be on with us tomorrow, as he always is, every Monday. Holiday season, baby. And the Jets got themselves a win on a Sunday. Only the second time this year the Jets have won a game on a Sunday. I find that stat to be amazing. They won 2 games on Thursday night. They won week 2. And they won today. That's it. Those are the 4 wins. Does it mean anything in the long run? Maybe, maybe not. But, for the Jet fans who are enjoying a win, good. Enjoy a win. Don't let anyone tell you not to enjoy a win. I think that's ridiculous. Don't tell a fan how to fan, is what I would say. Matt writes in, you should be on WFAN. Well, I got good news for you, Matt. You could listen to me on ESPN New York instead. 8:80 a.m. or download the ESPN New York app. I'll talk more about this when we get closer, but Rick DiPietro and Dave Rothenberg are taking some well-deserved vacation, so I'm hosting their show for 2 weeks in Morning Drive, the week of Christmas and the week of New Year's. So get up early with me and listen to ESPN New York. I'm also on ESPN New York every Sunday and whenever they need me. So more shows to come. More of your calls right now. Tim from Fishland is up next. Tim, the Jets won a game in your home state for the first time in their last 13 attempts
Long
at
time
it.
no see either. I stopped even watching anything Jet related after the damn New England game. Okay, I think it was even before that, Pittsburgh. Like I was, on my way out. As far as I'm saying, the Jets were Jet. When I heard you say that you were upset in the first half, I can't even be upset anymore because to me the Jets are like an ex-girlfriend that keeps cheating on me and says she's not going to cheat on me. Okay, like I can't bring myself to be upset about this team anymore. I mean, great second half. They bring back Rodgers, they bring back Devante, good, but they better build a wall behind him. I get where Aaron's coming from when Flair was talking about on the TV broadcast that he's really upset with the running game, and that's a huge problem.
They
Right?
need a real O-line coach, and they also need a real offensive scheme that could accentuate the running backs they do have.
I'm saying. I'm open to him coming back if he's willing to run like a Ben Johnson scheme, something like that. Okay, this archaic offense where you're standing still and it's simple slants, outs, all this type of stuff. It doesn't work anymore in the NFL. It's got too complex. Defenses are too athletic, and you got to be able to run the ball in the game. You've got to be able to run the football. All right. And the Jets have shown all year that they cannot win at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. The defense, don't even get me started with the defense. Not only can they cannot stop the run, but God forbid somebody throws a moon ball and the defensive back, whoever it is, can't get their head around when they're in perfect position. That was my thing with them the last couple of weeks. I've seen many times moon ball over their head. They're in perfect position, but they got their eyes focused on the receiver rather than tracking the ball. Okay? Like, the coaching on this team is a dumpster fire.
It's the worst in the league. Let's be real. It's the worst coach team in football.
Dumpster fire. Okay? Rex could actually do better than it, but I don't want Rex. Okay? I don't know who I want. I just want winning. To be honest with you, I want the Johnsons to sell a team. But that's never going to happen because Woody is Woody. All right, but it is what it is. Good win. Like, this is kind of how I look at it.
You got the W, man, in your home state. What a time. I'm just reading the quote, by the way, from Obrick here on the clock management at the end of the game. If he considered taking a knee and then kicking the field goal, quote, I did, but at the time I wanted to be aggressive and I wanted the points. They were having some success on offense, so I wanted to put the nail in the coffin at the end. This guy is so clueless. Put the nail in the coffin. You open the coffin, buddy. You're like the meme of the Undertaker coming out of the coffin. That's what Obrick did with that decision at the end there. Open the coffin. Or nail in the coffin. My ass. What a shit answer that is. Excuse my language. This is what I mean with this team being incompetent. Incompetent. There was 1:05 to go in the game. Jacksonville had just used their first timeout at the 1 yard line, and then they had 2 timeouts left. There would have been about 15 to 20 seconds left in the game if they took 2 knees and made Jacksonville have to use their timeouts and then kicked it. I mean, Ulbricht's a nice guy, but good God, is he in over his head? And how does nobody on the staff help him? All these NFL teams have like guys that help them with the clock. How's someone not in Ulbricht's headset saying, "Coach, knee it, knee it, knee it"? What a dumb answer that is. Put the nail on the coffin. He opened the coffin, Undertaker style. I mean, this season can't end soon enough, man. I can't deal with Jeff Ulbrich anymore. Brutal. Nice guy. Good defensive coordinator. Not a head coach. And Woody Johnson thinking he was ready for this just speaks volumes about how out of touch he is with his own team.
You know, thinking is overrated.
I don't blame the fans who wanted Ulbrich, but the owner's supposed to know better on what that move would do. The owner's supposed to know better. Brutal. What a dumb answer that is, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to more of your calls right now. New Jersey is on the line. What's up, NJ? New Jersey, the Super Trucker.
Yes, sir. What's going on, man?
You tell me. What do you got for us? Are you in an RV right now? Where are you calling us from?
No, I'm in my truck.
You're in the truck?
Yeah. You see my girl in the background?
I think we do. Yes.
Yeah. Say hi, baby. Big, come here. Come here, Big. Come here. Hey, up.
Oh, we got a dog. Here we go. Yeah.
That's my boy. He's a Jets fan, too.
I love it.
Hey, Jake, I want to say this, man. I mean, I'm glad that we won, but it doesn't mean anything at this point. At the end of the day, they played a decent game, right? And it breaks my heart to see this team with so much talent, bad coaching. I thought we were going to lose. When we were up, I said, you know what? They're going to find a way, just like you say, we're going to find a way to lose. It sucks. It sucks. I want to be a Detroit Lions fan. The only reason why I'm a Jets fan is because of you.
I appreciate it, man. I mean, look, the Lions were in a worse situation than the Jets are currently in, and they turned it around. So it comes back to what we've been saying. Right GM, right coach, you could turn things around. You need some luck involved too, sure. But, like, the Lions were a worse situation that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell walked into in 2020 than the Jets are going to be dealing with going into the 2024 offseason.
Yeah, so what's going to happen next year? Same thing.
Well, they hire the right people. Maybe it is, though. Why can't the Jets be the Broncos next year? Why can't the Jets be the Texans? Or why can't they be what the Chargers?
Yeah, why couldn't we beat the Broncos this year?
Well, I think you know the answer. This team is poorly coached. You got to get the right coach.
Yep. But it felt good to see him win. What are we for? Oh my God. It sucks, bro. It sucks. I traveled the country. I used to have a Zach Wilson jersey. And what was it, last year, the year before last, when the Jets were doing okay in the beginning of the season? The first time ever, people were like, oh shit, you guys are doing okay. And then everything went down the drain.
Yeah, they were 7-4 that year. 6-3, 7-4, and it all fell apart. And they haven't recovered since. Let's be honest. They haven't recovered since.
And you don't remember, I super chatted you when you were in Houston. I wanted to go to Pinkerton's with you and have a drink. You don't remember that?
I know Pinkerton's. I don't remember the super chat, though.
I know. You got a lot of stuff going on, Jake. Yeah, listen, you are I don't care what nobody says. You are the best to do. Jets, you are the best to do it.
Thank you,
I watch Boy Green sometimes, but no, you are more interested. Your style, you got it, man. You got it. You got it.
Thank you.
You are the
man.
man.
I appreciate it. Now, I have some questions for you. Do you live in the truck? Like, is this your mobile home? How big's the truck?
The truck is decent size. You know, I got a bed, I got a top bunk and a bottom bunk.
Nice.
I got an air fryer, a grill.
Wow.
I got everything I need in here. I got a Spanish woman that cooks good food.
Let's go. That's important.
Yeah. Listen, I'm on the road all the time, and like you said, last time I called in, you said the people that drive, they listen to you the most. I watch almost every show of yours, but just sometimes I don't call in. I don't super chat all the time, but I'm always watching you, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm a radio guy, right? I've done radio for 10 years of my career already, and the people who drive for a living, they're the lifeline of any talk show host on the radio and YouTube now as well.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
Hey, cheers to you, brother.
Cheers, my man. I appreciate it.
I like that. Hey, Jake, as long as you keep doing what you're doing, I'll be a Jets fan. When you stop doing it, I'm not going to be a Jets fan no more.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I appreciate the call, and hopefully we're talking about way more wins next year. But thank you for listening, man. We'll win the offseason. That's what the Jets do. You'll be enjoying some great Spanish food being cooked for you. It'll be tremendous. I appreciate it, NJ. That's awesome, man. We got to get New Jersey Super Trucker to a game next year. We need to see that thing in action at a tailgate. That'd be fun. Get him to L5 next year for one of the games at the beginning of the year when we still have a lot of hope. Wouldn't that be nice? Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I got a caller on the line right now that is going to change the way we do calls on this show.
It's Chiefs fan. Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches. It's Chiefs fan. I'm just going to rub my hands together all day. It's Chiefs fan. There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch. Let's hear it for Chiefs fan. Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
Hello, Chiefs fan.
Yo, what up? I haven't been on the show for a while. My friend convinced me to start traveling. I'm playing Magic the Gathering again, so we've been traveling to all Southern Illinois since right now.
You said you were playing Magic the Gathering?
Yeah, right now. My grandparents surprised me, and my grandparents surprised me. Oh, I know your back's been hurting. I know you need to get cut open, and you've been putting it off for years. So they're like, we'll take $5K out of that trust fund. That's going to be now $4K, and we'll cover your back surgery, and we'll get it done in February. We can come visit us in North Carolina. I'm like, bet. But
so Chiefs fan, you're going under the knife in February?
I'm going under the knife. It's just a small disc that needs to be moved around.
I see.
I've had that injury ever since I was 15, but decided to push it off, and now it's getting worse and worse. Those hospital beds that people sleep up? I have to sleep propped up at night.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So I've been enjoying all the Magic the Gathering I can recently. Doing whatever shifts I can get for the lawn care thing or whatever the hell. Raking leaves, whatever the snow comes down. Doing that. And then come February, I'm going to go under the knife. And the thing is, since it's only going to be 1 or 2 discs being placed, no metal pull, I can recover in a month.
All right. So you'll be back at it in no time then. That's good news.
Yeah. So, my friend's getting me out playing more Magic the Gathering. Was going to keep on playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I ordered something I ordered an expensive-ass deck. And eBay's like, well, we'll recover you for the deck, but we won't pay you. You won't get that $100 shipping guaranteed back. I'm like, because I ordered it from Australia, since this guy was selling his collection and he was selling it super cheap. So I'm like, You know what? If they can't give me my $100 back, I'm just going to go back to Magic the Gathering. But let's get to football. My team won, but I'm worried about my quarterback, and your team won, and I'm also worried about your quarterback situation. I know a lot of you guys want Rodgers, but I'm thinking maybe next year you can draft. Maybe you can get one of the Mannings, that little Archie Manning. Maybe you guys can get that in a year or two. But I'm I think you should just have Tyrod Taylor as a bridge quarterback. Everyone wanting Rodgers, I'm you're just going to go to the same, sorry for the language, bullshit as you're going through this year.
What if they have a better coach, though?
Yeah, a better coach.
Aaron's no longer MVP Aaron Rodgers, but, what does he have now? After throwing 3 touchdowns today, 23 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, throwing for over 3,000 yards this year. He's not He's not amazing, but he's not awful.
I mean, I don't know, but I'm like, I just wish something good for you guys. Like you guys came into this season thinking about 10 wins at the lowest, 12 wins at the medium, 14 wins at the highest.
Yeah, but the coaching stinks though. The coaching's worse than your back.
Yeah. Speaking of back, like doctors have told me to take stronger pain meds, and I'm like, no, I'm just taking Tylenol because
Tylenol is nothing, man. You need like that. Calling that even a pain med is like,
well, the thing
like a headache.
What the thing is, I just don't want to be codependent on pain meds that ruin your liver.
I see.
Like, they make them more and more strong these days, and like I looked into stuff. It's the same thing as being an alcoholic if you're relying on pain meds for a long time.
Well, why don't you see your doctor and see if they will give you a prescription for pain medicine that makes sense?
Right now, currently on state insurance because I'm no longer on my parents' insurance. So that's the issue about being on better meds because the state will not put you on the best things ever. I'm just lucky enough that I pay for my sleeping pill, and I've been able to afford it for the longest time.
Have you thought about acupuncture?
I have thought about that. I might get that also done after the go under the knife, but I'm just happy.
What about a new room massage?
Well, I'm going to tell you this much. Once I go under that knife, I'm going to save up, and I'm going to, instead of like getting $250 mattresses every 3 years, I'm just going to save up and go buy a sleep number bed or drop $1,200 on a really, really, really nice memory foam mattress. It's going to last me 10 years, 5 to 10 years.
I'll tell you what, I'll start a fund on this show to get you a better mattress.
Oh, no. I already got everything handled with my grandparents and everything else. I'm like, I'd rather do funds for charity. I'm like, I'll push through it. You forget I grew up in Chicago. I'm like I pushed through a broken nose for 6 months until we were able to realign that because we couldn't have that better, like barely breathing out a nose at age 15.
Neil suggests that you get a couch off the street first.
No.
No?
But Neil's a good guy. I'm just hoping things get better for you guys. I'm like, you guys always win the off season, but when it comes to the real deal, like, it's just like the 1998 when I think it was 98 or 99 when he went down with the ACL.
Yeah, Vinny in 99 went down in the first game.
And then when you guys drafted Chad Pennington, I'm like, back in the 2000s, I was thinking maybe something could come out of this.
Mm-hmm.
How even Geno Smith went show my better side in Seattle. But Seattle's paying the price for that contract. I'm just hoping things get better for y'all. I'm sorry your soccer team lost to the LA team too, by the way.
I didn't watch a second of it, so it doesn't bother me.
All I know is, even though you're a rival basketball team, I would love to see New York just hold a title. Even if it's the Mets, even though that's a rival team to my team, because what we did to them in 2006 to get to the World Series.
Chiefs fan, I'm worried about this back of yours. I feel like we got to get this.
It's gonna get figured out in February. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be when I re-aggravated it. That's why I was off for a week or two. Because I re-aggravated it when I was on vacation.
What are you doing for work right now? What is the latest with your job?
Basically raking leaves, shoveling snow whenever I need to. But we're not going to have snow for a while. In Southern Illinois, there's 0% chance of snow until the end of the year. Maybe ice, if that, because it's just going to be rainy for the next 3 weeks down here, off and on. So I don't have to worry about shoveling snow. And raking leaves is easy. Hell, 11-year-olds rake leaves to get by these days. At least the ones.
I need you healthy by March because we have the first ever Asmaniac Madness, and there's a lot of people projecting you to be maybe one of the 4 number 1 overall seeds.
I mean, I would love to go to that. I would love to actually meet up with you guys in New York, like if New York ever gets a draft.
Well, you'd be in the bracket. It takes place online. The Asmaniacs vote each day on the show.
Okay.
In conjunction with the NCAA tournament.
Well, the thing is, I'm going under the knife. When does that start?
March Madness, so end of March.
Oh yeah. I'm going under the knife on my grandparents' anniversary, which is February the 9th, and then I should be back together by March the 14th.
All right, so you think by March the 14th you'll be healthy and you'll be able to
no, March the 14th I'll be finishing the first few weeks of physical therapy, and then I'm going to be real with you. The physical therapy is just the same thing every single week. As a person who's broken, as a person who has so much surgical still in this leg, like, it's the same thing every single week.
How high are your socks right now?
Super high. Like,
you got your socks like above your knees?
Oh no, they're like this close. I wear high socks all the time because I'm like,
give me one of these. There it is.
I wear high socks because like I grew up in Chicago, and that cold wind will just hit your legs. So I'm like, I've been a lot. Like when I lived in Southern Illinois, I was a short sock person, and when I moved up north, I had long socks. I went out, seen Walmart had a deal. Like Walmart was selling 12 packs long socks, $8 on Black Friday. And I went out there and I got like 48 pairs of socks. I have 36 pairs put aside still in the bag, so I don't have to buy socks for the next few years.
Well, Chiefs fan, I'll tell you what. You keep us up to date on the back situation and everything going on in your life, and it's good to get you back on the show. I know a lot of people have been asking about you.
I'm glad to be back on the show. I'm playing more Magic the Gathering, so I'm traveling between Belleville, Illinois, Waterloo, Illinois, Red Bud, Illinois, St. Louis, Missouri. I'm trying to go to Magic Con. I'm trying to go to
the show from Magic Con if you go.
No, because if I go to Magic Con, I'm just gonna. If I go to Magic Con, I'm focusing on winning the. I'm focusing on winning the 6-figure Black Lotus.
So there won't be any break where you could potentially call in.
I could call, but I'm like, if they're putting up a 6-figure Magic the Gathering card, whatever format that is, I'll borrow a deck and play it.
All right.
Because one of my friends who I travel with has a $850,000 PSA 10 graded Black Lotus, and he's just waiting for that to hit $1 million. Then he's gonna sell it.
Awesome. Maybe you could pay for your back surgery.
Oh no, I'm good. I got my grandparents and all that stuff paying for it. It's this ever since the fallout with family and having to pay for my own stuff. I'm glad my grandparents came in. I'm like, they, even though they're Celtics and Pats fans, they always been looking out for me. But they also told me, they felt sad for the Yankees. Even though they were Red Sox, they felt sad for the Yankees. Like my grandparents are like, maybe they can finally win one.
I hate to say it, but your grandparents might be frauds if they're Red Sox fans and they were sad for the Yankees.
No, because they hate the Dodgers. They've always hated the Dodgers. Like my family who moved over here from Ireland were Dodgers fans back during the day. And then when the Dodgers left, they moved to the Red Sox.
Chiefs fan, we've covered a lot today. Thank you as always for the time.
Peace.
It's Chiefs fan. Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches. It's Chiefs fan. I'm just going to rub my hands together all day. It's Chiefs fan. There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch. Let's hear it for Chiefs fan. Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
Jets! Let's go!
More of your calls right now. Thank you, Chiefs fan. A couple super chats here before we get to the calls. Alan writes in, absolutely disgusted with Reddick's lack of hustle. He's terrible. Good week for Jeff Ulbrich to come out and defend him. The fact that Ulbrich said Reddick has been exactly what we thought we were getting with a straight face was such a joke this week. We know about the clock snafu where Ulbrich at the end is saying he wanted to put the nail in the coffin by scoring the touchdown with Brees at the end, which did the total opposite. It actually opened the coffin Undertaker style, Jeff. But this earlier in the week, you got to laugh at the bullshit being spoken by this head coach.
With the son, I mean, obviously this is not the production anyone anticipated from him. Looking back, having the benefit of hindsight, do you think it was just such a long layoff for him that it was almost impossible for him to be the player he was?
You know, you might say that had I, put on the tape and I saw a guy that looked rusty or slow or not explosive, but everything that we thought we were getting with him, everything that we had seen on tape that made us pursue him as hard as we did, has showed up. It's just, it's been a byproduct of a lot of things. Maybe, just still getting familiar with what we do. So I don't think it's a physical thing so much. And then the ops, like for pass rushers to get production, you need to have substantial leads, and you need to have leads throughout the game so that you can really let your rushers go. And we haven't had enough of those opportunities for him and for our entire D-line for that matter.
Yeah, okay. 3 games left, Jeff. Big fella. Ulbrich put a nail in the coffin of his career. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a DC or, a linebackers coach somewhere next year, right? Look, he was in a tough spot, but I'm sorry. I'm not giving this guy a pass anymore, all right? This fan base couldn't wait. Oh, we got to hire Ulbrich. And look, when they fired Saleh, I thought it was a week earlier than it was going to happen. I wanted to give Ulbrich a chance because I'm a Jet fan first and foremost. But I remember I took call after call all offseason. I'm not sitting here saying Saleh is this great coach. He's not. But I remember it was like anytime the defense would play well, Ulbrich would get all the credit. And anytime the defense would have a bad game or a bad drive, it was all on Saleh. And I just thought that was total BS. And you're seeing it was all Saleh because this guy can't coach out of a wet paper bag, this defense. 25 writes in, big parlay win tonight for me. So here's to you and the awesome work you do. Go Jets. Hey, very nice of you, 25. John with a super chat for us. Tell my brother Sam he can't wear another team's gear as a Jet fan. He's been wearing Packers gear this year. If you're a Jet fan, you can't wear any other team gear. That goes without saying. You'll never see me wear any other NFL team's merchandise. It's not going to happen. Now, hand up, I did once wear a Texans bucket hat in the pool in Vegas, but that's because the sun was ridiculous. But you couldn't even tell it was a Texans bucket hat, okay? It was just blue. The logo was like blended in. But other than that moment, you won't see me wearing any other NFL team's gear. All right, more of your calls right now. Devin's been waiting the longest. He's next. What's up, Devin?
What's up, Jake?
How we
you
feeling,
doing,
man?
brother?
I love the sweatshirt there.
Hey, appreciate it. It's a t-shirt, but yeah. Yo. So it's nice to have a win, first and foremost. I'm just gonna say that. I don't really care about the draft pick situation. Like, we're not drafting 1 or 2. You can't get the 2 best quarterbacks in this draft that I've seen thus far. So whatever. I don't care. But it's just nice to feel good about your team winning. That just feels good. It feels good to see players playing hard. Like, I like Quantez was out there, so he got an opportunity. And that's the things that we got to look at, man. It's like these games, statistically, they don't really mean anything in terms of wins and losses. But however, you do have to see how players react in these situations. As far as Rodgers, I'm cool with him. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna let the next regime decide. We get a Vrabel. I'm gonna trust whatever decision he goes with. So who's my number 1 coach desire. So I really would love to see him. But yeah, I would like to see Devante back though. And if we have to go, with Tyrod, I'm okay with that to start, as long as we have some sort of contingency in place. You know what I mean? Somebody else will come in. I'm not hearing good things about this kid that we drafted from Florida State last year, Jordan Travis.
Hey, he's had multiple setbacks.
Yeah, so that's kind of like bumming me out a little bit because I really like that kid. coming out of college last year. I was like, you know what? Give him a year to heal his leg, but man, it should have been healed by now. Most broken legs would have been healed by now. But I just wanted to call in, man, check in and say what's up, man. And I'm just happy to have a win. You know, it would be just like the Jets to go and win out the rest of the season, and then we draft in like 14th or something. But then some people would be happy with that. I'm just happy with wins. I'm sick. I hate losing. But appreciate you, brother.
Devin, appreciate you, man. Great shirt. Yeah, I mean, look. If you're a Jet fan who's happy the team won, good. Don't let anyone try and tell you you shouldn't enjoy it. I do have some post-game notes I want to read here. These are from the Jets. Usually I get these sent after every game, but no one wants to hear about a loss. But we'll enjoy the fact they won a game, and we got some good numbers to talk about. Here we go. These are just on the offense to start. Aaron Rodgers finished the game completing 16 of 30 passes for 289, 3 touchdowns, and a 120 passer rating during today's game. He added 45 yards on 6 carries, the 7th most in the game for his career, and most since he gained 49 yards on September 26, 2019. Rodgers eclipsed 3,000 yards passing for the 14th time in his career, tied for the 7th most since the merger, joining Tom Brady as the only other quarterback to do so in their 20th season. He's one of 4 quarterbacks since the merger, Brady 6 times, Warren Moon in 97, Vinny Testaverde in 04, as the only players to throw 3,000 plus in the season and start at 40 years old or older. In the second half, Rodgers threw 267 of his 289 yards, the 4th most in the league this season and 5th most in his career. With touchdown passes of 22 yards and 71 yards, Rodgers now has 9 passing touchdowns from outside the red zone, tied for the 3rd most behind Joe Burrow, 12, and Jared Goff, 10. The 120 rating by Rodgers was the 6th 100-yard passer rating game this season, tied for 7th most in the league, and 126 of his career, the 3rd most. He has posted a 100-plus rating and thrown 3 touchdowns 77 times in his career, also the 3rd most. Wide receiver Devante Adams led the team in receiving with 198 yards and 2 touchdowns on 9 receptions, joining Jamar Chase as the only players this season to record a 190-plus receiving yard and 2 touchdown game this year. Adams had 135 receiving yards in the final 4 minutes of regulation, the most by any player in a game this century, according to ESPN research. All of his 198 yards came in the second half, the 6th most in a second half / overtime in league history. He had the 7th most receiving yards in a game in Jet history and 2nd most by a Jet since 1973. Eric Decker had 221 in 2014. That was in the last game of Rex Ryan against Miami. Geno Smith started that game. Adams became the 12th player in NFL history with 100-plus receiving touchdowns, moving into a tie for 9th place with Mike Evans at 101. Of those 101 scores, 81 have come from Aaron Rodgers, the 6th most of any duo in NFL history. What else we got here? Trailing 17-22 in the 4th quarter, Adams pulled in a 71-yard touchdown reception, the longest reception of his career, and the longest receiving touchdown for the Jets since Robbie Chosen's 92-yard score against the Cowboys in 2019. The score was the team's longest go-ahead touchdown with less than 4 minutes to go since Justin Miller's kick return touchdown on October 1st, 2026. Garrett Wilson finished with 56 yards and a touchdown on 3 receptions. For the season, Wilson now has 933 yards and 84 receptions, beginning his career with 3 consecutive seasons of 900-plus receiving yards, becoming the first Jet to do so and the 20th player to do so since 1970. He has at least 80 receptions in each of his first 3 seasons, the 9th player to do so since 1970, while his 262 receptions since entering the league are 8th most by a player in their first 3 seasons. Wilson joins Odell Beckham, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Amon St. Brown, and Michael Thomas as the only 6 players with 80-plus catches and 900-plus receiving yards in each of their first 3 seasons. Wilson drew a 30-yard pass interference penalty in the 3rd quarter. He has drawn 6 pass interference penalties this season, tied for the 2nd most in the NFL, trailing only Justin Jefferson with 8. Since his rookie season, Garrett Wilson has drawn 14 pass interference penalties, tied for the most in the NFL with DK Metcalf. Now, let me say this. They don't throw downfield enough to Garrett Wilson. They need more vertical throws downfield. Couple defensive notes I'll give you guys here. Jalen Mills registered 4 tackles, a forced fumble, and a pick, the 8th of his career. That's a guy I'd bring back. Mills is the first Jet to have 4+ tackles, a forced fumble, and a pick in a game since Marcus May in 2018 against the Denver Broncos. Jamian Sherwood led the team with 9 tackles before the 4 o'clock games. He ranks 3rd in the league this season with 130 tackles, one of 9 Jets with 130-plus tackles in the season since 2000, joining Jonathan Vilma in 2005 as the only 2 to do so in one of their first 4 NFL seasons. Sauce Gardner posted 4 tackles, 2 pass defense, and closed the game with an interception. Since entering the league, Gardner now has 9 games with 2+ pass defense, tied for 5th most in the league. Gardner's pick, which came with 30 seconds remaining in a game, was the first by a Jet in the final 2 minutes of a 1-score game the Jets were leading since LaMarcus Joyner closed the game at Pittsburgh in 2022. The Zach Wilson second half game. What else we have here? Ashton Davis converted a 4th and 5 in the first quarter, rushing for 21 yards on the direct snap fake punt. Longest 4th down conversion for the Jets since Marcus Williams' 31-yard catch from Lachlan Edwards at MetLife versus the Jaguars on October 1st, 2017. And longest run since punter Steve Weatherford carried for 26 yards at Miami on October 12th, 2009. It's Davis's 3rd career conversion on 4th down, tied for the 9th most conversions on fake punts since 2000. There you go. Some notes from the Jets themselves. More of your calls right now. We say hello to Rob the Jet fan and a special guest.
Say hi. Say hi to Jake. Say J-E-T-S. Jets, Jets, Jets. But, Poppy, they suck this year. That's okay. Don't say that.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Rob. More of your calls.
Warning, warning, Allen alert. Shit's about to get ugly, folks. Warning, Allen alert. Hide the children.
Quite the call.
Why are you calling me? Why are you calling me while your team is on?
Because they're playing no defense. It's like watching an Arena League game. And if I'm Aaron Glenn and I want the Jet job, I think I'd want to burn the tape today. That's pretty bad. And a guy who might propel himself to the top of a lot of coaching candidates is Liam Cohen. 40 points in LA today. That's unbelievable for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Couple of comments. Rob said that I was rooting for the tank, and I said that the Jets don't know how to tank. That never came out of my mouth this year. Okay, that came out of my mouth last year. Did not come out of my mouth this year. What I was worried about over the last couple of weeks, and even the next couple of weeks going forward, is people would have these knee-jerk reactions over Aaron Rodgers having 300-yard games against Miami and today the 32nd ranked Jacksonville defense and say, you know what? Why not bring him back? Forget about 2026 and the $63 million cap hit. For me, it doesn't make sense because you got to look at this as a whole. And unfortunately, you look at this team as a whole, we don't have the 2023 defense anymore. And I'm unsure what kind of quarterback we're getting from Aaron Rodgers next year. And again, you have to look at that $63 million cap hit in 2026. So when people are like, oh, Aaron Rodgers come back and they're going to have a top 10 defense, they're not even remotely close to a top 10 defense right now, okay? So I'm listening to Jet fans talking about Aaron Rodgers and he's going to be this great quarterback next year. How the hell do I know it? I haven't seen it all season. He's played well the last couple of weeks. So be it. I am not confident that he's going to come back in 2025 and be this top 10 quarterback, and this team will suddenly turn around and be a top 5 team in the AFC. I just don't see it. For me, it makes no sense for them to bring him back. I don't care what he does today. Again, you might bring up the Bills game. In 15-degree weather in Buffalo in 2 weeks, that's more of a test than what I see today. I don't see today as a test. Jacksonville's defense is piss poor, okay? I don't see this team going into next season with a 41 going on 42-year-old quarterback coming back and being this 11-6 team. I just don't see it anymore.
Remember when you said you were never going to talk about Rodgers on the show
I did
anymore?
because he called me out on it. Rob called me out on it. Neil called me out on it. I had to defend my stance. Okay, I was not going to bring it up, but they brought my names out. That's the reason I brought it up. Okay. He played well today. He played okay today. Okay, but
he played well last week too.
He did, but you know what? Are you confident that we're getting a top 10 quarterback next year?
I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback next year. I don't think he needs to be a top 10 quarterback next year. The argument is he'd be a bridge, right? He'd be a bridge.
You can't be a bridge with a $63 million cap hit in 2026. Again, you're looking at this team going into next year. Are you confident we have a good defense? I have not seen it.
I think there's talent on the defense.
There's
I think
talent.
I think it could be fit. How did Brian Flores turn the who are the great players on the Vikings defense right now? It's coaching, man. Get a real coach in here. This defense will go back to being not one of the worst in the league. They probably will be a top 10 defense next year.
Are you confident that this team right now with a 41 going on 42-year-old quarterback is going to come back next year and be an 11-6, 12-5 team?
I don't even know who the coach is, so no, I'm not confident.
I mean, the most important thing is to have a coach and a GM. And again, I don't think many of these candidates will want to bring back Aaron Rodgers.
They might, though. I don't think it's crazy that Mike Vrabel would want Aaron Rodgers here if he finishes the year playing well. That's what I'm saying to you. In an ideal world, yeah, your bridge wouldn't carry the dead cap that Rodgers would carry, but the Jets might look at it like we don't have any answer at quarterback. We could bring Aaron back for a year, take a project that sits behind them, and we'll get our quarterback in 26. Maybe we draft the guy this year that sits, and that's our guy. Or we try and end the playoff drought next year with a real coach because this team still does have talent. And it's not like they're not in a spot where they could get the quarterback at the draft this year. But if I'm bringing Aaron back, I'm still addressing quarterback. I'm still drafting someone at the end of round 1 or round 2, as I've been saying the entire time.
But the idea of having a $63 million cap hit in
what if he would redo his deal? Would you be more open to it?
Because I don't think he's going to redo his deal. And
what if he did? Earlier. But what if he did? What if it's like Devante could get his?
I have
Aaron
more
takes
confidence
less?
in him redoing his deal than I do of him changing the way he is. That's what you mentioned earlier. Oh, you want him to modernize his offense? I have no confidence.
Then where's he playing next year if he doesn't go? If he's not a Jet, that's what I'm saying. He might not have any other options, so he might have to be on board.
He may not have any other options. I just don't think he'll come back and be a changed quarterback and modernize his play.
Okay, so let me paint you a scenario. He takes a pay cut, and that keeps Devante here. And they hire Mike Vrabel, and Vrabel hires Josh McCown, who's going to run the same offense that Kevin O'Connell's running right now.
I still don't have any confidence in a 41 going on 42-year-old quarterback next year. Again, I looked at him when he came here in 2023. I looked at it as a 2-year window. Unfortunately, the window was 1 year and 4 plays. And I just don't see him in year 3 going into 42 years old as a guy.
He's played well the last 2. That's what we're saying.
He's played well against 2 crappy defenses.
I get it.
I want to see him go into Buffalo in that weather, in that environment, and I want to see him throw for 300 yards. Okay? I just don't see it.
I don't think he needs to do that. I don't think he needs to do that to be brought back. I don't think he's here next year, but I think if you're telling me that you would still say no to him coming back if he took a pay cut, so then you're not worried about the $63 million in dead cap. It's way down if that were to be the case.
How much of a pay cut is he going to take, honestly?
Well, I mean, he'll make $35 million next year if he plays on his current contract. His cap hits $23 million, but the bonus he'd get would be around $35. Now, I don't know how to do the math because I'm not a cap guy, but let's say he took half that. That would lower the dead cap hit by half. All of a sudden, $30 million in dead cap is not that bad. We see teams deal with way more than that.
I'm not confident, honestly, throughout the whole season. I know he's played better the last 2 weeks, but I'm not confident that a 41 going on 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers is going to make this.
So what's your plan at quarterback next year then would be the pushback?
My point is, unfortunately, you start with Tyrod and you draft a kid. Unfortunately, the window
so why
is
can't
closed.
I argue in this scenario that in the scenario you're outlining here that you're saying you wouldn't be on board with, Rodgers gives me the better chance to win than Tyrod with a pay cut and a modern offense, and I'm still doing what you're saying, drafting a quarterback anyway.
Because
I'm not bringing Aaron back and neglecting quarterback. I'm drafting a quarterback this year.
Unfortunately, I don't think that pay cut is going to exclude a major cap hit over the next 2 years.
It would.
Again,
It would.
I don't.
The
it's
dead
not
cap
gonna-
is
there's
based
gonna
on
be-
the bonus.
You're going to
The
have
dead
to
cap
move
is
money
based on-
down the road. Unfortunately, you're going to have to.
You're not moving anything. He's taking less money. You're not restructuring anything. He's taking less. That's the only way to get the debt. Brian Costello talked about it on his podcast with Gangs All Here this week. That's the only way to get the pay cut lower. He would have to take get the dead cap lower. He would have to take a pay cut, which maybe if you keep Devante, he'd be willing to do if, let's say, hypothetically, Mike Vrabel's the coach. That's what I'm saying to you.
Again, I am not confident in a 41 going on 42-year-old.
Then why would you be confident in Tyrod Taylor, who's
Because
going to be
I'm not
36
confident
next year?
because I think this is over. Unfortunately, I think our window ended this year. It was a 2-year window,
There's no
and there's
window.
nothing else.
There's no window. There's maybe no window to win a Super Bowl next year, but there's a window.
There's
to be
no
competitive
window if
next
they're
year.
not making the playoffs next year.
How
with
do
this
you know
quarterback.
that?
Because
How
I
do
am
you
not
know that?
confident in this
Bo Nix is
quarterback.
making the playoffs this year as a
What?
rookie. The Jets went to a championship game with Mark Sanchez and Rex Ryan in year 1 together. How do you know they're not making the playoffs next year?
Because I am not confident in a 42-year-old quarterback. I'm just
Then
not.
you shouldn't be confident in Tyrod Taylor then. Who's your
I'm
other
not
option?
confident in Tyrod
Then
Taylor,
you're
but
already,
again,
then
I'm
hold on a
looking at the
second. Then
future.
Hold on. You're
I'm
giving
not.
up already on next year for what
Yes.
reason? What reason?
Because
What
I
reason?
just don't think we have the talent all around for us to make a run next year. For
to
me,
be a
I think
playoff
their
team
ceiling.
when 7 teams make it in the AFC. You're already
Again,
sitting
this
here saying
might
that they
be a
can't make the
9-8
playoffs
team
next
year.
No.
Might
Don't
be
give
a
me the
9-8
might.
team.
The NFL is a year-to-year league. Every year there's a
I
team that
just
goes
don't
from
think
worst
they
to
have the
first.
talent around them. I think they have so much dead cap.
So you think
around
the
their
issue on this
team.
team this year is the talent? You think the talent is why they're
No,
being
I think the issue is the coaching. Unfortunately, if you
So
look at some of the
if
players,
you tell me they hire a real coach, right? They hit a home run with the coaching hire, whoever that may be. You're telling me they can't make the playoffs next year. You're no matter what, you're done with the year. You were confident.
I don't think they'll make the. I do not think they'll make the playoffs with this quarterback next year.
How'd they make the playoffs with Mark Sanchez in 2009?
Because they had an all-world defense that year. I don't think they have an all-world defense anymore.
Well, guess what?
They don't have a number two. They don't have a number 2 corner next year. They might not have their number 2 linebacker. Sherwood might cap himself out of this team.
You don't even
Again,
know what the team roster
because
is next
I
year.
don't. I think they have so
what you
much
did is
dead
you
cap.
exposed yourself, Alan. I gave you every scenario where at that point
I
it would
don't
actually
think
make
this
sense to bring Rodgers
quarterback is
back.
going to
and you're
make
still
this
saying
team better
no.
next year.
You're
Again,
still
I don't
saying no.
think.
You're
I
saying
don't
no to
think
pay
you could
cut.
win with
You're
him.
saying no to modern offense.
I don't
You're
think
saying
you
no
could
to
win
real
with
head
this
coach,
quarterback
and you're trying
next
to
year.
sell me on Tyrod Taylor. And that
I'm not
season's
trying to
already
tell you
lost for
anything.
next
I
season.
think this is over. Unfortunately, this was the year and it failed. You can't sell me on a 42-year-old quarterback next year coming back and playing all-world football and them winning. I just don't think so.
Alan, the whole point is he's not going to play oral world football. You got to be realistic about what he is. We're saying he would be a bridge quarterback. By the way, Nate actually makes a pretty good point. Lito Shepard was the Jets' number 2 corner in 2009. Nice callback. But he's right. You don't know, Alan. You're going to give up on a year next year? The 2015 Jets should have made the playoffs at 10-6. That year came out of nowhere. You never know. It's a year-to-year league. Unfortunately, we as Jet fans, we never think it could be our year because it hasn't been in forever. But the idea that you're already going to give up on next year, even though I painted to you the most ideal scenario for Rodgers to be
I
back,
have
is
no
crazy to me.
confidence in this quarterback. I've none. And
You have no
I
confidence
loved
in
him. And I
anything they
wanted
do.
him.
And
I
remember,
wanted him.
any move the Jets make, you're going to be anti
That
that
is not
move.
true. I wanted him 2
Any
years
move they
ago.
make. They could
That is
hire
not
Ben
true.
Johnson, and I'm sure
Hold
somehow,
on.
some way,
If Ben
he'll come up with
Johnson
a
came here, he'd keep this quarterback? No.
He might.
If
He
Liam,
might.
he would
He
not.
might.
No chance.
How do you know?
If Liam
How do you
Cohen
know?
would come here, he would not keep this quarterback. He wouldn't.
How
He
do
would
you
start
know?
new. He would not keep this quarterback.
How do you
I
know
gave
that?
this quarterback 2 years. Unfortunately, it lasted a year and 4 plays. It's over. He's
How
not
do
coming
you
back
know?
in, because
How do
I
you
don't
know
have
that?
confidence in this quarterback
You
at
don't.
42
But
years
that doesn't.
old.
You're not. Goodbye. You're not an NFL head coach, Alan. Last I checked, your last name's not Cohen or Johnson or Vrabel or Flores. You don't know. You don't know. How could you sit here and say definitively that a new regime would come in and maybe not be open to the idea of bringing this guy back? And look, I don't know if Rodgers would take a pay cut. I don't know if he'd want to learn a new system. I don't know if a new coach would want him back. But I gave you the scenario where all that would happen, and you're still saying no, start Tyrod Taylor. That doesn't make any sense. Why am I giving up on next year already if I don't have to? I'm not saying Rodgers is the guy. I still would draft a quarterback. But, like, come on, man. I know. I don't feel confident. Well, good. You're not an NFL head coach or GM. Let them decide. No matter what they do, you're going to have a problem with. I already know this to be the case. The Jets could hire Vince Lombardi. You'd find an issue with it. Allen is the type of fan that the Jets could win the Super Bowl 35-31, and his first call to this show that night as we're hammered celebrating a Jet championship would be, how could the defense have allowed 31 points? That's the type of fan Allen is. And I think it's more likely than not, Rodgers is still not here next year, but if he took a pay cut, was open to learning a modern scheme, and most importantly, the next GM and coach wanted him back, why wouldn't I be on board with Aaron coming back? Do we really look at this team and say it's because of Rodgers why they're 4-10? He's no longer good enough to win you games by himself. But I can't sit here and act like Rodgers is the reason why this team has failed this year. The defense is a joke. You fix this defense and get a real kicker. Why can't they be in the mix for a playoff spot next year? I don't think that's crazy. I'm not saying they're going to, but I'm not punting on next year already. Every year, there's a team no one expects to make the playoffs. The Browns did it last year with Flacco and a bunch of other quarterbacks. Why can't we have a fun season for once? The 06 Jets were going to be terrible. Mangini got them to the playoffs with Pennington healthy in year one. I mean, come on, man. Snake writes, and the coaching in the NFL is horrendous. It is. And I think the Jets are the worst coach team out of any team. And there's some bad coach teams in the league. John FL writes in, or he just gifted a membership. Thank you, John. The chat exploded, so I don't know who got it, but John, you're the man. Hamburger's up next on the line here. What's up, Hamburger? Last chance to get in. We're 2 hours into the postgame show. So if you want your take read, super chat it. If you want in on the show, click the link and join the StreamYard. What's up, Hamburger?
What's up, Jake? What's up, Asmaniacs?
Man.
Wow. You know, Allen will die on that hill. He will die on that hill no matter what.
Hopefully the point I was trying to make, like, people understood. I'm like, I agree with him from the standpoint of, in all likelihood, Aaron is not here next year. But when I paint the perfect scenario where he could be back and he's still like, no, and then arguing for Tyrod, what's the point? Why?
It's no point. No point. Listen, any coach that's out there that has interest in the Jets right now had watched Aaron over these last few games. And I'm going to tell you right now, he's making a real strong case to be back. I mean, you watched the last two games, last week and this week. He showed you something. He had the most yards rushing as any of the Jets today. The guy's got heart. I think he's healthy. So let's see how he does in the next 2 weeks. I think his chances are a lot better than you think at this point now, Jake. I mean, he's showing a lot. A lot over the last
There's still 3 games to go, though.
Yeah, well,
let's see.
I agree with that. I agree. But he showed a lot in these last 2 games where he's got me really thinking, man. I was happy with what he did today. It was a lot of fun to watch the game today.
Look, if anything else, you got to respect a guy who wants to go out there and play, put his body on the line like that.
Without
way.
a
He still
doubt.
cares, you know?
Without a doubt.
Hello.
Say hi. No, unfortunately, I was out to dinner, so I didn't get a chance to watch any of the show. As soon as I got home, I stuck you on, and I got on right away. But listen, man, overall, great win today. I was very happy with it. I didn't think they were going to win at first. I thought they were going to give it up when they scored the touchdown. But listen, it's always good to have a win. We're going to have a positive week getting into Christmas time. Maybe we can squeeze out another one, and maybe Aaron can continue his push to have him back next year. Because if he can play good, I'd want him back. You know what I mean? I have no reason not to want him back. If he can play, I'll take him. Especially if he cuts out some money for next year.
That to me is, I think, the biggest thing, because the argument against Rodgers, I think, is not, who's better.
It's the money.
It's the cap ramifications of keeping him. So I painted the scenario where I want Devante back. If Aaron took a pay cut and that money goes to keeping Devante, so he's happy and Aaron's happy that he gets to play with his friend for another year, why wouldn't I at least consider that if the dead cap is not $63 million now in 2026? Say it's $30 million.
Yep.
30,
and without a doubt, at that point you couldn't argue it. Yeah, at that point you couldn't argue it. That's a great outcome for it. If he really wants to play and he's willing to take that cut, it's going to be a good idea, man. And you never know. Depending on who we get as a GM and a coach, Aaron might want to buy in, man. And he just might want to. I think really at this point, as of right now, he's our best option. So let's see how it plays out for the rest of the way. But he's changed my mind a bit. And in my mind, I kind of want him back now, man. You know,
Look,
it is
we'll
what it
see.
is.
A good call, Hamburger. Shout out to you and your awesome daughter. It's just, the Jaguars defense stinks. He's supposed to play well. He's supposed to play well against Miami last week. He did. He's healthy. The Rams are coming in. They're going to need the game for their playoff hopes. Let's see how they look. See how he looks against them. That game in Buffalo is going to be telling. The Bills might be the best team in the AFC right now. Yeah, I know they lost last week to the Rams, but, you can kind of see that one coming. Cross country, they just won the division. They came out flat, and by the time they made a run to come back, it was too late. This is a statement they're making right now, destroying the Fighting Allen Avitals in Detroit. Oregon says, Aaron's 4-10. You want that back. Do you watch the games, Oregon Jets? If you think the Jets are 4-10 only because of Aaron Rodgers, you haven't been watching. Shout out to Ralphie with a super chat. Ralphie was at the wedding I was at for my cousin on Friday. Met him and his wonderful wife. Don't you think Adams is a package deal with Rodgers? Not necessarily, Ralphie, but I think if Aaron's back, Devante's definitely back. Devante has said he'd be open to coming back either way. I'd keep him. I want to make it work with him. Keep him and Garrett Wilson together. I don't care who the quarterback is. They don't have any receivers on this team outside of Garrett under contract that you feel good about. That's it. Tom Ace, we need a Fightin' Avatars logo emoji ASAP. Gator, Snowball, Joe Mike. Put Allen's head on the lion logo. Neil writes in, morons galore on this show. For those who missed it earlier, Neil was on until someone paid me $50 to remove him from the premise. Jet Sonic says, Jets with their annual draft order busting meaningless win that makes me sick. Did you guys really think they were going to lose out and finish with 3 wins? I love they won. Of course they won. I got news for you. They probably weren't going to lose out. If you thought the Jets were going to lose out, I can't help you. We knew they were going to win at least one more time. I think they might win again. They might win the last week of the year against Miami. Get ready for that. They were never getting a top 2 pick. So you were never going to get the quarterback. So you don't even know who you're tanking for. You're upset they won. Who did this win today prevent you from taking if you're the Jets? Tell me. A year ago, they couldn't beat the Patriots because they're going to lose out on Alt and Fashanu. They're not going to be able to get their left tackle. Remember that? How'd that work out? You have no idea. None. Joseph is our last caller here. What's up, Joseph?
Hey, Jake. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Not bad. So I just wanted to, I've been watching, I've been so busy, I've been wanting to call him a little more, but here's my take on kind of the season and kind of everything that's going on is I don't want them to lose out because kind of like what you just said, who are they tanking for? And I think wins mean more to Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, the guys who haven't won. Granted, we're not winning anything, but if we want to keep those guys around, regardless of Aaron Rodgers coming back or is coming back, we need to make them happy. We need to give them some hope, and we need to make sure that we're trying to win for them. That's my biggest thing. And to like the Aaron Rodgers thing, I really want him back. I know the cap ramifications, but this is how I look at it. If we can draft a quarterback or Travis ends up working out or whoever, $60 million is a lot in 2026. And I agree with that. But the thing is like, to me, that's no different than paying a Joe Burrow. Now, do I think Aaron Rodgers is a Joe Burrow right now? No. Do I think a Travis is going to step in on year 3 and be a Joe Burrow or somebody
That's not
like
what
that?
you're paying. Let me just explain it to you, Joseph. It's not Rodgers making $60 million. It's the dead cap of him not being on the team is $60 million.
Right.
You're
That's
carrying.
what I mean. Sorry, that's what I mean. But either way, what I mean by that, though, is that that's still paying a top 4 or 5 quarterback in the league. So if you can let that cap run off, yeah, I don't think Travis is a top quarterback in the league or anybody that's going to start that year. But it's no different than paying a quarterback that kind of money anyway. So the salary to me is just a wash if we can get it right next year with, let's say, Aaron Rodgers and hopefully a Mark Vrabel kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, you could argue it's worth it if you hire the right coach and that coach is like, we can win next year. But thanks for the call, Joseph. Your audio was a little loud at the end there. It's going to come down to what a new regime wants, how they view the roster. Can they win next year? Is it, hey, we're not going to win next year, so we're just going to move on from Rodgers now? I don't know. But I think the idea you'd already give up on next year in a league where parity is rewarded, to me, is crazy. Crazy. I'm not throwing away next year with this team. How many games have they lost this year because of their kicker and inept coaching? You win those games, they're competing for a playoff spot right now. Man, the Jets win and we still want to kill each other in the chat. It's just, this year just cannot end soon enough. Ugh. If you're watching live right now, God bless you. Hit the like button. JakeAsman.com. Get yourself some merch. I'll do a sale right now. All right. Let me get the website up. All right. If you use promo code JETSWIN at JakeAsman.com, you'll save 15% off for the next 24 hours. I'm going to put that in place shortly. All right. Give me about 5 minutes once the show ends. Promo code JETSWIN. And in the merch store, 15% off. All right. Get some positive vibes rolling, man. They won a game on a Sunday. Isn't that nice? 15% off, which is the same discount Patreon members get year-round. But non-Patreon members, here's your chance. For 24 hours, we'll give you an opportunity to get some merch for the holiday season. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show if you haven't joined already. Also, follow me on Twitter at Jake Asman and Instagram at Jake Asman. And I'm approaching 1,000 followers on TikTok, which I never use other than clips. So follow me at Jake Asman Show on TikTok if you could do so. Let's see. No one is on hold right now. So I think that just about does it. Actually, someone is on hold right now. Rob, how are you?
Oh.
Thanks for the time, Rob. Rob's just taking up space in the green room. I love it. He's giving me this. He's giving me the Bobby Midnight.
One.
Yes, Rob?
Just one thing. And I'm not comparing Aaron of today to Josh Allen. But Josh Allen threw 2 touchdowns today. Is 25th. Guess what? Aaron is not half as good as Josh is right now. And Aaron threw his 23rd touchdown today with 8 interceptions.
Rob, goodbye. How many rushing yards has Josh Allen had? What are Allen's stats in the fourth quarter? He's going to win the MVP of the league. I think he clinched the MVP award with his performance today. God, we got some. If you thought the Zach Wilson truthers were bad, the Rodgers truthers, I could tell this is going to be a battle. Oh, my God. Anyhow. Good Lord. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. You guys are the greatest fans in sports. The Asmaniacs. Love you all. Thanks for the support. We're back tomorrow with Beningo at 10 a.m. Will Parkinson will join us in the afternoon on the show as he always does on Mondays. My name is Jake Asman. Jets win. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for your support. JETS. Jets, Jets, Jets.
I didn't think I was going to get COVID.
You have COVID, Chiefs fan?
A symptom of COVID. I just feel like shit.
What symptom do you have?
Basically, you got the run syndrome. You're not feeling well. You're sleeping like a bear in hibernation, all that little stuff.
I don't know if that's COVID. That just sounds like you.
Well,
I think you'll be okay. Did you say you had the runs?
That's basically.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't.
Bobby, that's enough out of you, all right?
I did drink a shit ton. And you know when you drink a shit ton, your immune system goes.
First, I got to ask you about the shop first. Try to put in the password Patreon. It's not working.
The password's actually Chicken Soup 2024. Rick got it right.
It's not working.
Make sure you put all caps for Chicken Soup 2024.
I did put it in all caps.
It's actually all lowercase then.
It's not working, Jake. I don't know what the hell it is.
My merch person just told me they changed the password again. Let me get it for you.
Oh, okay.
Ask her for the soup recipe.
She's not in the mood right now. She's talking to my dad.
By the way, the password is Dennis Gorman if you want to try that.
Is it all caps lock?
It's Dennis is all caps, Gorman is all lowercase.
It's not working.
Hey, I just got off the phone with my merch guy. It's chicken soup for life. Try that, all caps.
It's not working either.
Are you serious? I'm gonna have to fire this guy.
How do you chicken is spelled? Bleh.
How do you spell bleh? I think you're typing too fast.
Say, please try again.
This is unbelievable. All right, well, message me on the Discord later, and I'll get you in there when I figure this out. Charles, try one more password if you can. All caps. I want WANT chicken soup.
Say, please try again.
God damn. I'm sorry, man.
Don't worry about it, Jake. You know what? I'll probably come on another time, okay? Don't worry about it.
Promo code JETSWIN is now live. JETSWIN. All one word. 15% off in the merch store. JETSWIN, baby. It finally. Joining us right now is Gary. Hello, Gary.
No, it's Gary's wife. Hi, Bobby. I just got new lipstick.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Bobby, don't you think I'm pretty? I know Sarah's pretty, but you love me too, right?
Okay, let's get back to Jake.
Oh.
We're done with this. This is creepy.
You want to see creepy? That's my husband.
Creepy. Jake, why you do this to us? Man, this is like embarrassing.
Don't be embarrassed. I mean, being embarrassed is waking up next to boxing gloves every morning.
No, I'm just saying. You're not creepy with me next to you?
Creepy? Oh my God, no, Bobby. I mean, do you see who I sleep next to every night? I mean, that's creepy.
Jake
Bobby,
always does this to people. He did that to...
I love you.
Gary,
What's up?
You're on for like 2 minutes. You didn't hear that? Jake put you on. You're sitting there, and then he's ringing the bell.
Yeah, my wife. Shut up, Gary. Bobby, would you sing me that pretty song that you sing me?
When I think about you, I touch myself. Ooh,
Yeah.
I want to make you mine. This is a good song, guys. It's a good song.
You ain't kidding, Bobby. This song rules. When I think about Bobby, I do things.
How did I do?
Bobby, that was amazing. Weedle beetle, deedle deedle, beedle deedle deedle beagle.
Is Brock Purdy gonna run for his life on the opener? Fuck yeah!